everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to another Sovereign Citizen Watch. Hope you're all doing well. I did just see the Doyle thing. I would have done Doyle today had I known. So we're gonna have to hold off Doyle till Wednesday, because tomorrow's Tinfoil Tuesday. But we will cover the Doyle thing. That'll be fun. I'm sure he's much coping and very angry, and we'll do the thing. But that'll be Wednesday. Today we're doing Sovereign Citizens. How's it going, everyone? Polyaz's Cracker, how is it going? Briar Rose 1984, welcome, welcome. 3 raccoons in a coat, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I like this shirt too. Probably why I bought it. All It Undying with 40 bits says, woo, Hannah, hope you're well. I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little warm, but I have a fan. Okay. Sorry I haven't seen you guys in the last couple days, by the way. Some stuff came up. I was supposed to do a patron-only stream yesterday, but something came up last minute, so I couldn't. So that's going to be next Sunday, and the Sunday after we're going to do one, so I apologize for that. Patrons. Terradona, thanks for gifting a sub to Halloween Town. PK the Lost, thanks for 42 months. What else? What else? Rageology. What Doyle thing? Oh, he uploaded his video about the Trump in conviction. Plural. Did I start playing the first Starfield DLC? Well, the DLC isn't out yet. They did do an update, and they did the trailer for the DLC, but the DLC isn't out. They did release the Creation Club, and there are some mods out, which are fun. I've been playing some of the mods. The pricing structure for the paid mods is disgusting. But that's its own discussion. Bumble Homestead says, so 15th Doctor was quickly becoming one of my favorites. I'm like 3 episodes behind. Baja's been busy and we watched Doctor Who together, so I haven't gotten a chance to watch yet. But I'm excited. I liked the episodes I saw. I saw like the first 3. I feel like someone said it was their sub baby. Was it Halloween Town? Whoever said it was their sub-baby, 45 months, there it was Halloween Town. Carmen San Francisco is the name of this sub-baby. So there you go. MH Darkbeast says, you're classy for having corn dogs, Hannah. Never suggest otherwise, though you need to dip them in queso. Speaking of video games, what did you think of this? The American cheese on the corn dogs from the Discord, I knew that was trashy. I would use queso, but I didn't have any, so I used American cheese. So there you go. Anyway, what do I think of this? Let's find out. What is it? Oh, yeah. I actually did see this trailer. Let me turn off the music so I can play it here. Do we play bingo for Sovsit Watch? No, I'd have to make an updated Sovsit bingo card, which I might at some point. But... I'm assuming they're doing this in part because of the success of the Ninja Turtles side-scrolling beat-em-ups that have come out in the last few years. First, they did a remaster of some of the old games, and then they did Splinters. Was it Splinters Revenge recently? I played on Game Pass for a little bit, and it was fun. Shredder's Revenge. What did I say? Splinters. Splinters Revenge. He's their master. Shredder's Revenge. I think that looks fun. And I say this as someone who... There have not been good Power Rangers games for the most part. I say this as someone who played the Power Rangers Sega CD game. I liked it as a kid because I was a little kid and was stupid, but like, holy crap, the Power Rangers Sega CD game was literally just button presses on footage from the TV show, and your button presses had nothing to do with what happened on screen. It's the most egregious kind of full motion video in that the video and the gameplay are completely divorced from one another. Harold Elbleman, thanks for 34 months, says, 34 months and proud to be here. Speaking of, went to Pride on Saturday and protests broke out. How times change, but don't. Yeah, indeed. Ferris Hex, thanks for 30 months, and we are on a hype train, 55% to level 1. Much appreciated. Yeah, the 3D sections look fun. Look, cute. Like, I like the idea of, like, what a 2D game had to do to make it look 3D, but in the modern age, I don't know. Good. Reminds me a little bit of Fester's Quest, the first-person segments, or, I think Jurassic Park, one of the games, had some first-person segments for the Super Nintendo that were kind of a pseudo 3D thing. Pretty interesting. Sorry, pulled out the headphones. Ferris Hex, thank you so much, first of all, for subscribing for 30 months, and secondly, for gifting 5 Tier 1 subs. That's so generous of you for the community and for me, so thank you very much. Helps people watch without ads, which is always nice. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's just do our first Sobsit video. We have some arrests today. We have an update from Chilie, an update from Cat. You know, general Sobsit stuff. Should be good.
15th, 2024, Volusia County Sheriffs conducted a traffic stop involving a motorist with a left tail light out. Here's what occurred next.
Hello, Sheriff's Office. You got your driver's license on you? Okay, I pulled you over because your tail light's out. The one on your left. Your left tail light is completely out. Alright, I need your driver's license and your registration. Because I'm asking you for it, this is a traffic stop.
Jimmy Tea Time, thanks for gifting a sub to Phoenix.
Yeah. I'm not giving you a verbal warning, I'm telling you. Alright, so this guy, not wanting to identify, he's not going to step out of the vehicle, I can tell you that right now. He's recording his taillights out, his left one. And he's going to be recording you, he's one of those.
I'm Deputy Carroll with the Volusia Sheriff's Office. Go ahead and turn that down. Do you have your license, registration, and insurance for the vehicle?
Who are you? Who do you think he is? He just showed up in a police uniform after the other cop was talking to him. Who do you think he is?
You the supervisor?
Do you have the license,
Are you the
registration,
supervisor?
and insurance for the vehicle?
I do. Are you the supervisor?
Okay, go ahead and have...
I find it so interesting that sovereign citizens believe that asking for, like, a higher-ranking cop will turn out well for them, as if the higher-ranking cops, like, understand a secret series of rules that the, like, lower-level cops don't. Utterly bizarre. What a weird system they think we live in where, like, you gotta ask for the super-secret police menu.
Supervisor.
Are you failing to identify yourself on a legal traffic stop?
He's asking to talk to him. 90's on his way.
84% level 2.
Delta 9, be advised he is being
No. I
really
asked for a supervisor.
agitated,
Y'all refusing me a supervisor.
refusing to identify, refusing
And you refused a
to get out of the
supervisor
vehicle.
over a freaking taillight out. And you refused a supervisor. You
I don't think
said-
it's over a taillight. I think you got pulled over for a taillight and then you refused to identify yourself, which is a requirement in all 50 states, to my understanding. It's one of the things you agree to when you, like, sign for your license. Either way, it's expected of you that in a traffic stop, if you are the driver, which you are the driver even if you try to do the Sobsit I'm traveling thing, you're operating the vehicle, you're supposed to identify yourself. Now, don't give a bunch of superfluous information, but you are required to show, like, you have license, registration, insurance, stuff like that.
You send another one that was my...
Listen, it's a legal traffic
The
stop.
back look like they're tinted, but it's hard to say.
Alright, so I pulled
Kind of rough camera footage, and it's nighttime, so the light just might be hitting it weird.
him over because his tail light's out. And the second that I walked up, he starts arguing. He's not wanting to give me his driver's license, not his registration. He's pulling the whole, oh, there's no reason you're stopping me.
Did he give you his stuff?
Nope.
Ashley One Up with 40 bits says, well, sir, I was going to give you a ticket, but since you asked for a supervisor in Latin, while hopping on your left foot and holding an eagle's feather over your head, I have no choice but to let you go. How it works. We all know. You know the rules. So do I.
You want to speak to the supervisor?
Just under a minute left on the hype train.
I'm the supervisor. So do you have your driver's license and registration?
The supervisor, where's your badge?
Does that help you?
No, you don't. How do I know you're a supervisor?
I just showed you. That's right there.
Prayline says a lot of these guys don't understand, but the purpose is to make the situation annoying to try to get the cop to let them go through frustration. See, that's the kind of the thing with it, though. It comes a dual meaning. It has multiple layers. It has the internal logic of the nonsense conspiracy stuff about magic words and straw men and stuff, but then yeah, there's that layer of like, in reality, the only chance you have with any of this stuff is that you're just such a pain in the ass you're not worth dealing with. A lot of them just believe it from this standpoint, though, and only understand it from the standpoint of the mythology and don't get that layer of con man that's kind of wrapped around it if you know what you're doing. Even then, I think it's a bad strategy. I think it's a stupid strategy, even if you recognize, like, it's all bullshit. I'm just trying to annoy them. I don't think it's a good strategy. Obviously.
Okay, well, I'm the supervisor. I'm Sergeant Levin with the Sheriff's Office. How can I help
Call the
you?
police station. Make sure
Okay, do you have your driver's license and
When I call the
registration?
police
Nope.
Thanks for the hype train.
That's right.
Why? I'm verifying.
I don't care.
This front, okay, I'm pretty sure this back window is tinted. The front, like, driver's side isn't, but I do believe this rear one is, and I assume on the other side as well.
You're the supervisor. I just want to
Get out of the truck.
Wait.
No.
I don't know what state this is or the laws or anything.
Okay, I'll give you what.
Get out of the truck.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to annoy cops. American cops are, like, really aggressive. Like, look at this guy reaching in the car and, like, grabbing this guy. Don't get me wrong, this guy's in the wrong in the sense that he needs to show his license and stuff, but also cops in America are very, like, we're just gonna grab him. I don't know. I think it's a culture problem. I think Americans are very distrustful of one another, especially cops. I don't know. It comes down to a lot of distrust and over-escalating things. It's very weird to see these interactions and compare them to, like, a UK police officer and a sovereign citizen, or an Australian cop and a sovereign citizen. And that's not to say there aren't overly aggressive cops in other countries, far from it. But American cops in particular have a culture problem that is just always like, how we solve issues is with physical force. It's weird.
I'm getting out. Let me get out. I'm getting out. I'm getting. Relax. Don't slam me.
No.
It's fine. It's fine, bro. Listen. Relax. Relax. This arm is broken.
I don't
Did I see the AMC Mall Theater in Saginaw closed down permanently? Doesn't surprise me. The theater situation's interesting. I actually watched Red Letter Media's hour-long discussion about, like, the death of movie theaters earlier today, coincidentally enough. Kind of seems the way things are going. I don't know. As much as I love movies, even I don't really go to... The last movie I saw in theater, I think, was Barbie. You know? And I don't foresee a movie I'm going to see in the theaters in the future anytime soon. The one I'm even most interested in is probably like Deadpool and Wolverine, and I'll probably wait for streaming. I don't know. Just the value isn't there. It's so expensive to go to the movies. It's like $20 a ticket or something like that. Plus if you're gonna get concessions there, which you shouldn't, but like they expect you to. And then you see a movie that's gonna be on streaming in a month? Maybe 2? I don't know. Just doesn't make a lot of sense, especially in a time when a lot of people are broke, like myself.
Put your hands
I just wanted to talk to the supervisor.
No, you didn't. You want to play fucking smartass tonight?
It does make me sad. Like, don't get me wrong. Movie theaters are an experience all their own. I imagine it'll be like how drive-in theaters exist in a few places, but it's sort of a nostalgia thing that exists as a kitschy remnant of the past. Someday movie theaters probably won't really be a thing, and we're getting there. Sad, but it just is what it is. Stuff changes.
You go to jail. No.
Can I tell you what happened?
No, you can't. Is he gonna look at us?
Watch that one. Watch that one, please. Photo. That one. arm is broken, sir.
Okay.
Hold on. Can you just tie me up front, please?
No.
This arm is broken.
Well, quit resisting and you won't have a
I'm
problem.
not resisting, boss. Look, can I just explain myself, please?
Nope.
You're the supervisor.
Jesus, that was a quick one. Alright, let's do the next one. This guy seems to be a fan of Chilie, and this one's a little sad in that, like, I don't know, the mental state of this guy. The story behind this is that he's getting served a protection order against him, a restraining order. So he was stalking someone or something. So take that as you will. And he uses a lot of language that implies that he's a fan of Chilie. So let's check it out. This is one of the things that frustrates me about Chilie. Chilie may or may not be a con man. But either way, his message gets to vulnerable people who might be a danger to themselves or others. And that doesn't help. Not good. H-Baird says, I saw Jurassic Park in a drive-in in my father's Jeep. That's pretty much the only way to enjoy something like that. Oh, it's a nice memory.
Hey, Josh. Locomotion, move on. Blah, 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 blah. Don't touch me, sir. Get out of my way. Freedom of locomotion, move out of my way.
Freedom of locomotion isn't a thing to my knowledge, especially not when you're being served by sheriffs.
Freedom of locomotion, move out of my way. Move out of my way. I'm not listening to anything. Get off of me. 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 I'm not listening. Josh. I'm not.
Civil sexual oriented protection.
Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah.
This is the first time I think I've ever seen one of them literally stick their fingers in the ears and go la 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 la. Fun fact, if you're being served a legal notice of any kind, if a process server or sheriff shows up with legal paperwork, doing that's not going to stop it from being served. That's not how any of this works.
Blah, 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 blah.
I'm not really listening.
Persons named in
I'm
this
not
petition
listening to
by harming,
anything.
attempting to harm, threatening, or following, stalking, harassing.
Stop grabbing me, bro.
Forcing.
What's your name?
Josh!
What's your name and badge number?
All right.
What's your name and badge number? What's your
Hands
name
on
and
your
badge?
back.
For what, bitch? What am I
Hands
being
on your
arrested
back.
for? What am I being arrested for? What am I being arrested for? Tell me right now, what am I being arrested for? Obstruction for what?
Put your hands on your back. You're going to get tased.
Tased for what?
Jesus Christ, cops are so quick to want to tase people. Again, this guy's in the wrong. He needs to take this, like, thing. Legal thing. What he's doing is immature and ridiculous. But holy shit, they treat him like he's a threat instead of just a weirdo or someone who's, like, obstinate. There's a difference between someone who's obstinate and someone who's a danger to you. Don't like that. Peaplord says, ah yes, movies. Neat, ogling, visually interesting entertainment. It's sad that human habits have deleteriously affected a cherished passion. I have many heterosexual human nostalgia feelings about this. Time forward advanced.
Get tased.
What the fuck are you guys doing? Assault, bro!
On your back.
Assault! Bro, I have the right to resist this arrest. This is unlawful arrest! This is unlawful arrest! Unlawful arrest!
What are they even going to say about Trump's remorse level? He's actively every day shit-talking the judge still on the internet.
Get these tyrants off
And at his rallies.
me! Right now! Right now! Get these tyrants off of me now! These fucking unconstitutional pirates! Get them off of me now!
3104.
Get the fuck out of my face, bitch! Sit down. Let go of me now! Let go of me now, bitch! Let go of me now! Take that badge off! Take that badge off! Take that badge off!
Threatening to fight the cops isn't a great idea. This is something Chilie's done a few times, where he's said to the guy, like, let's go to the gym, let's go to the gym. He may have even said, take that badge off. Something to that effect. Why? Why? Your physical ability to strike someone until they're unconscious has nothing to do with this situation. I know that we're apes, and I know that you want to smash things real good. But that's not going to solve all your problems. In fact, it'll make a lot of your problems worse. Just so you know, hot tip. Don't always listen to the monkey brain.
Sit down.
We're all right. No, we're not all right. These guys are assaulting me in the fucking hallway, and you're watching it. It's a violation of my constitutional right, freedom of locomotion.
Sit down.
No.
Again, not a thing. Keep Lord says, I need Thunderzord power now!
Calm down.
Get these torture cuffs off me, bro.
Torture cuffs. Chili.
Get these fucking torture cuffs off me. This is a civil lawsuit that you just harassed and tackled me to the ground for.
Also, I watched Maniac Cop the other day. Good movie. I own the first 3. I think that's all there are, actually, with the Maniac Cop series. Anyway, I digress. There was a pretty good scene where a guy gets handcuffed by Maniac Cop, and he's running away, and his wrists, the Maniac Cop put him on so tight that he was bleeding everywhere from the wrists, and I was like, this is it! This is the torture cuffs! Maniac Cop! Maybe Chilie was in Maniac Cop, and that's his entire concept of handcuffs.
You're not allowed to tackle people to the ground for a civil fuck.
I'm sorry, to be clear, I know that handcuffs can be put on too tight and they can actually hurt people. It's just funny to me that Chilie acts like that is every time people put handcuffs on.
Fucking lawsuit. You understand that, you piece of shit?
Yeah, he was stalking someone. He definitely needs to, like, get served this order and forced not to stalk that person.
That's a civil fucking lawsuit.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. You don't know the fucking law, you piece of shit.
That's all right.
For Maniac Cop 2 and 3, as bad as I hear, I actually don't remember. I've been trying to refresh, because it's been years since I've seen some of these. Like, the other day I did a marathon of the Basket Case movies again, just to refresh myself. Like, I was forgetting, like, their names. Belial is the name of the little dude from Basket Case. But I don't know, I'll have to watch 2 and 3 again. I just watched the first one recently, so I am kind of on a marathon. I don't remember them being much worse. I do miss, Bruce Campbell in them, but...
Ow! Call an ambulance right now. Call an
Was he in
ambulance
the second one?
right
Was it a smaller role?
now. My wrist hurts. Call a fucking ambulance. Yeah, Star Squad.
Sit down.
No, I'm not sitting anywhere.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm
Sit down.
fucking not. Don't lay your hands on me, bro.
Sit down.
For what reason?
Because I told you to. You're in
What law am I
custody.
breaking?
You're in custody now.
For what?
Obstruction.
Of a civil fucking what? Obstruction of what?
We were serving a protection order.
You don't have the right to serve a civil protection order.
Yeah, we do.
I have the right to deny it.
You don't. It's a protection order. It's the power of law. Can't deny it.
I have the right to deny that protection order. Get your hands off me.
Well, if you sit down, my hands would be off you.
Well, if you didn't such a free citizen to begin with, I wouldn't be in
down.
handcuffs. No, bitch. Suck my dick. Suck my big fat 10-inch
Sit
dick.
down.
Probably not a good idea to tell the cop to suck your big fat 10-inch dick.
Suck my 10-inch dick, you bitch. That has
Suck my 10-inch dick, you bitch.
nothing to do with obstructing justice. I'm not listening to anything you say, bro. La 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 la. La la la. They just harassed me to the ground over a civil lawsuit. Yeah, they don't have the right to do this, and they keep putting their hands on me. This is an excessive use of force.
Relax.
Quiet. Hey, quiet. First Amendment right. Fuck you guys. Fuck you too, bro.
Hey,
Quiet. Okay, that's
what's your name,
fine.
partner?
That's fine.
What's your name, partner?
I'm not identifying nothing.
Okay. I was just wondering who was talking to us, man.
You don't know who you're
Cody.
talking to. You have no clue.
All right.
I'm not accepting anything.
Okay.
Well, we're not gonna sit here and listen to your mouth.
Well, then you can go somewhere else.
No, I can't.
Well, then you better.
Like that even the other cops are like, Jesus Christ, man, this is embarrassing. Keep Lord says if a person with one or more prosthetic hands, arms gets arrested, they put on cuffs or take the prosthetics. I genuinely don't know. I don't know what the restraint like it would be. They do have like ankle cuffs for people. I don't know.
No, I don't have to go somewhere else. It's like you don't have to go
This is
somewhere
First
else.
Amendment freedom of speech.
This is my First Amendment freedom.
All right,
That
then
was some nice clean audio you provided the internet.
don't tell me to shut the fuck up.
You
Don't tell me
relax.
to shut the fuck up. Don't say
We're trying to serve the heat.
Yeah, don't call your son.
Quiet. I don't have a son, so quiet.
Yeah, you'd be an awful fucking dad.
Oh yeah, I probably would.
Yeah, you'd be an awful
You'd hate to
fucking
find
dad,
out,
wouldn't
wouldn't you? You'd hate to find out, wouldn't you?
So what was going on?
Paladin's Fury, thanks for 26 months.
I came here for court today, and these guys grabbed me up for a civil fucking protection order. They're not allowed to touch me for a civil protection order. They're not allowed to touch me for that. They're not allowed. I'm allowed to refuse a civil protection order. That's civil. That has nothing to do with criminal. That has nothing to do with criminal law, bro.
So you were being served civil protection order?
No, I'm not.
They were attempting to serve you.
And they physically.
Does he think that only criminal things have the force of law behind them and not civil? It's civil law. It does, in fact, have the force of law behind it.
Accosted me and assaulted me to serve me a civil protection order, which they're not allowed to do. They can only do that if I have a fucking warrant, you piece of shit.
Stop.
I don't have a fucking warrant, bro.
Stop.
Take these handcuffs off me now. I don't have a warrant.
I didn't put them on you.
I don't have a fucking warrant.
They keep winking at you downstairs. Yeah, but winking at your court. We're going
I need my jacket ripped off me. You guys are such pieces of shit. I just saw you this morning.
I did. I do.
Yeah, before these guys came and harassed me.
Alright. Well, I don't know what's going on. So
It's a civil lawsuit, bro. They're trying to serve me a civil lawsuit, and they fucking accosted me over it, which they're not allowed to do. They can only do that if I have a fucking warrant against me. It's an unlawful arrest. Anybody who assists in this will be part of a 1983 federal lawsuit. What's your name and badge number, sir?
My name is Corporal Montgomery, sir. We don't have badge numbers.
You got your body camera on?
I sure do, sir.
This guy arrested me and accosted me over a civil service.
Head him down real quick, Josh.
Yeah, you grabbing on my dick now, faggot? This is what you did this for, huh? You arrested me so you could grab up on my dick. You guys are nothing but cocksuckers. You had no reason for arrest. What was I obstructing? Your civil service.
Are you okay, Peep Lord? What are you talking about?
Service, and you don't even have the right to serve? You should be fucking ashamed of yourself. We have constitutional rights in this fucking country. You hear me, goddammit? You know what a constitutional right is? I have the right against unreasonable search and seizure. This is unreasonable search and seizure. This is unreasonable arrest. This is a false arrest. My fucking wrist, you piece of shit! You wanna fucking take it out on me, dude? You wanna take out your anger more on me?
asking you a question.
Yeah, for my fucking wrist. For these guys are tackling to me to the fucking ground, you piece of shit.
You need to call me a piece of shit.
I'll call you a piece of shit all I want because you backing these idiots, bro. You guys should be on my side trying to help a free citizen. Instead, you guys are fucking arresting a free citizen for no reason. They tackle me to the fucking ground with no reason.
Here, let's head him down through here.
Arrest. No! What probable cause did they have to arrest me? What was their RAS of a crime being committed? What's the reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime being committed, sir? I'm asking you a question.
Unit 50.
Yeah, you don't have any reasonable articulable suspicion. Because you're kidnapping somebody and abducting them right now, and that's a felony. Chapter 18, Section 242, deprivation of rights under color of law. If you are to deprive any citizen of their rights, of their constitutional rights, that is a felony punishable up to 10 years in prison in federal courts. Chapter 18, Section...
Italian Shakespeare says, have there ever been sovereign citizens you found and for one reason or another you can't cover them on stream? Yeah, there are ones that I don't cover. There are even some I covered like once or twice, and then they seem to degrade, or I realized like, this is maybe down punchy because this person might have, I don't know. It's kind of a vibe thing. Even this is marginal, and the way I talk about the individuals is different depending on their mental state or apparent mental state. This guy's marginal. This guy definitely needs help. Like, don't get me wrong, he has a protection order, so he's also probably a danger to others around him. I'm not saying he's, you know, innocent here, but he also probably actually has some problems and needs to get some help himself. But there are absolutely videos or people, sovereign citizens, I don't cover because it feels punch downy. Normally, in my head, I guess there's kind of a formula. It depends upon how competent they appear, how aware of reality they are, and how much they're victimizing others. For instance, Marcel, who is pretty out there, but he also regularly victimizes people. He continues to try to scam people. So that sort of like pushes it into a line where like Marcel's kind of off, but he's also hurting a lot of people, so I'm okay covering him because I'd rather that information be out there so people can warn people or know that this is like a thing. But I never want to be in a situation where I'm like looking at people and just going like, ha ha, fuck this person, because that's gross. And I see a lot of streamers do stuff like that, and I really don't enjoy that. So if it's someone I have nothing to say about other than like, haha, isn't this dumb? I tend to avoid it. That is some of it, don't get me wrong, it is silly and it's fair to look at the absurdity of it and kind of laugh. We laugh at uncomfortable things. But I don't know. Like in this case, at least I'm able to talk about like, it seems like the police are escalating in this scenario, if that makes sense.
To deprivation of law.
I'm able to talk about why people believe what they believe or something. Cool.
Chapter 18, Section 241, conspiracy against rights. You are now conspiring against my rights. This isn't going to do anything for you.
Dumpy Daddy, thank you for following. Solid name.
Bro, I'm going to get bailed out. I'm going to go get it dropped in court. Because you have no reasonable articulable suspicion to arrest me to begin with, you pieces of shit. And you didn't even check.
I try not to, Phoenix. I do not have 1,000 batting average, but I try.
Check their reasonable articulable suspicion to see if they had a reason to arrest me. You just agreed with it and nodded along just like a sheep. You have a noggin to use it. You have a brain to use it. Start questioning your other officers because some of them are not honest and some of them are not truly law enforcement officers and some of them don't honor their oath on the Constitution. And if you don't honor your oath on the Constitution, you will be charged with treason. I have the Fifth Amendment right against unreasonable...
I really want people to learn what treason is. It gets thrown around all the time.
I have the Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable search and seizure and the Fifth Amendment right to proper due process. And you have not used proper due process today because there is no reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime being committed.
Oh, that's not good. Best case here. Best case, you get the door open, and then you, what, you're gonna jump out of a moving car? You're gonna get charged for damaging government property and attempting to escape. What are you doing? Also, they designed the cars so you don't get out that way. That's a real big waste of energy. Like, you're not the first person to think, what if I kicked the door on this police cruiser? They build them with that in mind. You're fine. Leave it be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's moving. You can see out the window, stuff moving.
Advise Mr. Henderson is trying to kick his way into my car.
Yeah, I hope this guy gets some, like, anger management or impulse management training. I really don't know.
You'd be pissed if you got arrested for no reason too, bud.
28 to 50. I'm heading your way. Do you need a 10?
Negative. Just have it, yeah. Dispatch, just have the jail staff ready.
They've been advised. Go ahead and shoot me with 50. 845.
You can't resist an unlawful arrest, dipshit. This will be dropped by fucking next week, dude. Okay. Such a fucking dumbass. It's gonna be a huge lawsuit, bub.
Again, the Chilie strategy of on the way to the court, or on the way to the jail, just telling everyone you're gonna sue them.
Just filed a complaint against one of your sheriffs the other day.
You know what they say, you can beat the rap, you can't beat the ride. Even if you think you're in the right, I don't know what you think you're accomplishing by trying to shit talk the cops. They're not gonna care.
So this is retaliation.
Bub, he's Wolverine.
Speak to my attorney. Hey buddy, you hear me?
I hear you. We can't do anything about that right now, can we?
Yeah, I need to speak to my attorney. That's an immediate right now.
Alright.
In the car?
As soon as we can get you out of here, okay?
Before questioning, you have a right to have your attorney. You don't have a right to have him in the car on the way to the jail.
I can't do anything about it while we're sitting right
Not being questioned.
here.
Yeesh.
New tonight, a shocking twist for the man who went.
That. Here's this one.
I'm saying no mister.
H-Beard says maybe he's trying a ransom of red chief strategy on the cops. I'm guessing they're prepared for that. I don't know what that means.
But I'm a family of Bailey. Okay?
Right. So
and then
what's your
That guy looked like he needed professional help. Agreed.
My name is PC Andrews.
Can I get your what's the name, your number please?
Yeah, 3405.
3405 for the record. I've been stopped on what's the name road?
Gregory Boulevard.
Gregory Boulevard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
okay.
warrant card.
Okay. So what the police officer is saying to me today is that I'm traveling on a bicycle. He's saying it's not a bicycle, even though it has to be assisted. It does 15.5 miles an hour. It's not under 250 watts. And then yet still, he's saying that I need a license not to drive. He's saying that I must be driving. I need a license.
Yes. I assume that's going to depend upon the local laws, like the laws surrounding like electric bikes or what are they called? Like assistant propelled bikes. Depends on the area. Above certain speeds, usually they require licensing, but it just depends on the locality. I really don't know.
So mechanically,
the beeping is excruciating. I'm gonna pick a different video. Oh, real quick, 3353. Remember when Chilie said he wasn't recording in court? Remember when Chilie got his cell phones taken away from the judge in court because she thought he was going to record? And he's like, I'm not recording. What are you talking about? Turned out he was recording. So here's part of the recording from the court before his phones got taken away. This is what caused him to call the cop a pig. Was he had his feet up on the defense table or something, and they come over and tell him to stop, and then Chilie says a bunch of shit.
Away from me, looking straight down upon me. And then he said, turn and face straight in the court bench. And I said, no, I'm not going to do it. There's no statute, court, and ordinance that says I have to turn and face a certain way in a bench. And then he called over. He said, I'm going to call my sergeant over. And then he called the sergeant over, and I told her the same thing. No, I'm not going to turn and face the way. You're just demanding me around. There's nobody in here. There's nobody even on the bench besides me.
Here it is. This is the recording from in court.
Is the expectation that Mr. Holmes will be present in 2 weeks?
What's it? Put your foot down. Why? You're in court. You're not going to tell me how to sit. I'll sit anywhere I want. It's our court. You can go to hell. I'll sit right here all I want. I'm sitting right here.
You can go to hell.
You can go suck a dick.
You can suck a dick. He said to a sheriff in court. You can suck a dick.
Get away from me. There's no reason to approach me right now. Leave me alone. Get the fuck away from me.
How did he think this was gonna go?
Want to tell the Twin Chief?
He didn't specify size like the last guy. The last guy said 10 inches, which I don't believe.
Tell anybody who needs
I'm willing to accept evidence to the contrary, but I don't believe that guy had a 10-inch dick.
to hear it. Get away from me. My leg up on this bench isn't hurting anybody. There's nobody on the bench. You're the only one's got a problem with your ego.
Actually, I have a problem.
I don't care if you have a problem. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to sit exactly how I like. Eat my shorts.
I love how Chilie hasn't changed his insult since 1994, so he still regularly tells people to eat his shorts. God.
Get the hell away. Go. I don't give a damn what you do, lady.
Thank you.
Jackboot thug pig. Your Honor, he's not sitting how I want him to sit. Wah, wah. He's not sitting how I want. Wah.
Chilie as Bart Simpson all grown up actually makes a lot of sense, in particular, because sometimes they kind of have a similar hairdo.
Go cry a river, lady. Yeah, shut your mouth. Don't ever talk to me again. Mind your business.
Save that for later.
Mind your business. You just want to come over and give me a directive because this is the only thing you can do? You ain't shit, Jack. Drop the badge and gun, buddy. You ain't shit.
See, it's, again, like the other guy was like, take off the badge. Like, what are you talking about? This is not about some personal ego-driven, like, pissing contest. Get your feet off the fucking bar. You're in court. There's decorum. You're acting like a jackass. Just be a normal person.
Come over, tell me how to sit, eat my shorts. You need a...
I can't believe he didn't get contempt for this, like, alone. Like, this is nuts to treat, like, people in court this way. Oh.
Hey, shut your mouth. I'm sitting on a bench. No one's next to me. Shut your stupid mouth. You just want to direct people around. You are a pig. You are the definition of a pig. You are, buddy. You are. I'll meet you at the gym. Let's go get a workout together.
There it is.
Let's go, buddy. And then see if you give me a directive. You bitch. Yeah, exactly. Just let me be. I'll sit how I want. This isn't New York subway where there's rules to sitting.
This isn't the New York subway where there's rules for sitting. Very specific statement.
How far it's gone? You see how far it's gone? Came and stood over me with a gun and a badge.
Yeah, that's part of his uniform.
You have a right to tell me how to sit. There's nobody else around me. The only person bothered about it by you. Oh, what's the code or statute? What's the code? What code is it? What statute is it? Is there a code you can't have your leg on the bench? You're in contempt of court for sitting how we told you not to sit.
And so this went on for like...
Yeah, they can put you in contempt for a lot of things that are not following directives and behaving like a jackass in court. That is how that works. Funny enough. So that was him recording, even after he said he wasn't. So that was a lie. It was a lie he told in court. That's great. Speaking of Chilie, here's his most recent update. He has his appeal hearing coming up next month on like July 11th or 12th or something. He'll say. But let's see how he's been doing.
Today is June 7th, 2024. My name is Chilie DeCastro. I'm a journalist who's been unjustly imprisoned in the Clark County Detention Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. Welcome to Delete Laws. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. This is my daily journalistic update. I try to check in with you guys as much as I can. They moved me to a medium security, and I think it's being reduced back to a minimum security now. It was pretty intense when I first got into this room, and over time...
My understanding that this was so his other place could be cleaned. I guess this is... Again, this is, if it's incorrect, someone correct me, but what I gleaned from other people was that the reason that this happened was because the way that they clean out, like, sections of this jail is that they'll rotate people to different, like, pods, and then one of the pods will be empty, and they'll clean it and, like, do repairs or whatever, and then they'll do it again to the next pod, and people will kind of get shuffled around. He acts like this is some sort of malicious thing against him, that he got moved to a different pod temporarily. Just part of the functioning of the prison.
I was able to create some decent relationships, and I was able to meld in, and I didn't get myself killed, because jail's no joke. You know, the Clark County Detention Center definitely has they're on top of it as far as their guards, but you're still in...
Whenever he says this, Chilie almost sounds disappointed that he hasn't witnessed guards, like, beating people and treating them very poorly. He said that several times in different updates. I don't play you guys every update video because a lot of them are just boring and he says the same things over and over. But I wanted to highlight this because when he came into the prison, or jail rather, some of his first videos were talking about like, oh, jails are so full of guards that are just gonna beat you up for nothing and murder you and murder prisoners and hide their bodies and all sorts of like really, really out there things. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely, misconduct in jails and prisons happens, and there's a culture similar to an American policing that is really escalative. I understand that. But Chilie was acting like everyone was getting murdered constantly and beaten by the guards all the time for no reason. But seemingly nothing's happened in his presence, because he just continually has said, like, oh, they seem to have that under control, it's good. He almost seems frustrated. Almost seems frustrated that it's a lot more banal than his movie idea of what a bad incarceral system is. You know? Kind of interesting. M. Scheffler says, the fact that he's thinking he's a journalist is wild to me. I own a car that doesn't make me a race car driver. He's so delusional. Yeah, I would say that legally, I would say, and a lot of people are like, he's not the press. Colloquially, no, he's not the press. I just think he's an asshole. I do want to say legally, I think his recording is the press. It's just that his understanding of what rights to the press are different. He thinks that you can commit illegal acts while filming as the press, and it makes those illegal acts legal. He's wrong. But, like, in terms of his videoing, I think independent, quote-unquote, journalism is still journalism. Like, Chilie I don't respect, but, like, any law that would hurt him could hurt actual, like, independent journalists. So I think it's just easier to have it expansive and not try and restrict what the law considers journalism. It's just that he's not in jail for journalism. He's in jail for obstruction.
Inside of a dorm with 75 men, and the room's only 60 feet by 60 feet. So they put beds 2 feet apart. You're sleeping right next to a guy who's in prison or in jail here for attempted murder. Another guy's in jail for kidnapping. And the guy next to him is in jail for armed robbery. So I was definitely in a hairy situation there for a while. But truth be told, the guys around me, I actually started to get along just fine with them. And then day before yesterday, they came in and they grabbed all the guys who were here for violent crimes. And they moved everybody out of here who was in here for a violent crime. So now this dorm is now being filled full of homeless and crazy people. I'm back to that, just like it was when I first started. When I first was put in here and I was over in 5N, it was full of people who were homeless.
It annoys me that he'll talk about and touch on the fact that jails and prisons end up being a repository of, like, people with mental illness or other undiagnosed things, or homeless people who've been arrested for, like, minor crimes or for things like, you know, loitering or whatever. But he seems to not treat it as some sort of systemic issue, but more as a thing that's happening to him. Like, it's not that, oh my goodness, as a society, we have failed so many people due to lack of social support networks and, like, social services and help for people. Instead, he's like, I'm around all these crazy and homeless people. Like, really derogatory, like, shitty way he says it. It's so unfortunate. Ableist and, like, just gross. Not a fan.
And crazy. And then I got put down in 2K, and it was full of people who were in jail for violent crimes. And now they've moved all the violent crime people out. Now I'm in jail again with a bunch of people who are homeless, crazy, or drug addicted. It's really an insane process that I'm going through. I wish there was something I could say about this process that's good, but I can't. I don't agree with the policies, procedures, and protocols that they put in place here. I have to say, and I guess I would say more accurately, that they do follow a very rigid set of policies, procedures, and protocols. So the old way of seeing people get beat up in jail is not happening. I haven't seen anybody get beat up. I've seen people get cuffed. I've seen people get thrown on the ground. But I haven't seen any outright abuse in front of me. So that's, at least there's a positive. You know, the idea that people get jumped in jails like they used to, it's changing. Definitely is changing in this jail. So there's a positive, I guess you would say. The other positive is that I've worked so hard on Constitutional Law Scholar to be able to create this new way to learn history. I really spend all of my time just working on Constitutional Law Scholar. That's where
I promise you, if he releases this game, I will buy a copy. And we will play on stream.
Bulk of my time.
Or I will play, or we'll look at it. Whatever. I don't know how the game would function, so I don't know if we could play it together. But at the very least, if he releases this game he's deciding, I will get a copy and we can look at it on stream.
Is just learning Supreme Court justices. Now I've learned them all. I've read and researched every Supreme Court justice. And that was because of you guys. You guys sent me a book on Supreme Court justices, and I read it. And then I got another book on Supreme Court justices, and I read it.
Funny that he says he's been doing research. I mean, I know the term research colloquially does kind of just also mean, like, reading stuff. I don't know. In conspiracy communities, it gets so misused that I'm probably oversensitive about it. What he means is he read some books. He read some books about Supreme Court justices. I don't know if I'd call that research. I'd say, oh, I've been reading about the Supreme Court justices lately. Been interesting.
I got a book on the 13
It just feels like he's trying to sound very official.
colonies. I read it. I got a book on Centennial America. I read it. I read Ayn Rand. I read Atlas Shrugged.
Ayn Rand?
I read Fountainhead. If you really want to read a great book, Fountainhead. Oof, Fountainhead is a great book. A really great book. I am Howard Rourke. I embody that guy. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. When you know what you know.
Oh my god, he's identifying with Ayn Rand characters. That's the most Chilie thing ever, isn't it?
Know and you believe in what you know, and you're confident in what you know, that makes you Howard Rourke. Unapologetic and just, wow. never read Ayn Rand's books before, you're in for a real treat if you read those. I really don't have a lot other than 33 days. 33 days to go before the appeal on July 10th. That's what's going on right now. We're 33 days away, so put it on your calendar. July 10th in the Justice Court. My appeal will be heard. Hopefully this case is overturned. But you know what? If it's not overturned, then we go to the Nevada State Supreme Court. And if we go to the Nevada State Supreme Court, there's then 7 judges. And I guarantee you those 7 judges are not going to abolish the First Amendment here in Nevada.
Your case doesn't abolish the First Amendment in any way! What are you talking about? Nothing about your case was decided based on First Amendment grounds. Multiple times, when you tried to bring up First Amendment stuff, the judge was like, this isn't about that. You're allowed to film. The cop said you're allowed to film. You are allowed to film! It was the other stuff you were doing. A camera is not a magical shield that makes everything else you do legal, no matter what.
So if this judge...
July 10th, Chilie gets denied his appeal. July 11th, Trump gets sentenced. I think we know what that means. Chilie's gonna have a new roommate.
...rules against us on July 10th, then I believe...
Trump's not gonna go to jail, I don't think. But that's... in my head, that's a pretty funny sitcom. Chilie and Trump happen to be cellmates.
In all of my being, that it will be overturned by the Nevada State Supreme Court, and that will give us state standing. It'll be a much bigger case if we get to the Nevada State Supreme Court. So, and then my release date is 2 weeks after that, around July 25th or so. So we're getting close. We're in the home stretch here. It has not been fun. It has not been easy. It's been very difficult, very hard. The food is atrociously bad. Thank you guys, man. I asked you guys to send me some iCare gift packages, and you did. And I gotta say thank you for that. And to my friends Cope Dog and Alan and Gloria and V. Boyer and gosh, and the guys who sent me letters and Carl who's continually sending me letters, and I just gotta say thank you to all you guys.
Is Marcel the Kramer just busts in his cape. Gamer G says, in your opinion, Hannah, is Chilie grifting for money? Is he too stupid to know his appeal to the Nevada Supreme Court would probably take longer than a 6-month sentence? He's aware of that. He's said that, but he says it's like, A, he claims he doesn't want it on his record, so he no longer has a conviction. Doesn't matter, he's got other stuff on his record, who cares? But he wants to, like, prove something. I don't know. I think has the qualities of narcissism enough to truly believe his own bullshit. Don't get me wrong, I think he's quite happy to be pulling in money through all this, but I also think he thinks he's right. I think he really believes that he's this, like, freedom fighter. I think he's constructed this narrative in his head, and he contorts every situation in his head into him being the victim, and everyone sees him as a hero and being wrongfully convicted. I think he just has a reality, like, perception filter on. I just think his ego wants him to be the best guy ever and no one to ever tell him he's wrong, and any reality that goes against that, he warps.
So much for supporting me, and Bruce, I appreciate you, man, and I'm sorry I can't write back everybody. I get a lot of mail, but send me another letter anyway. I'll read it. It gives me just a few minutes or I get to smile because I know someone took the time to write down on a piece of paper to me. And then this woman sent me this excerpt of a book. I think her name was Linda. Man, Linda, it's intense. It was intense. It was intense. I read it. I passed that letter around to everybody in the dorm. It was about how it's demoralizing to be strip searched. And I'll read the whole letter when I get out of here. I kept it. I put it in my stuff so you guys will get to. I'll share it with you as soon as I'm out. So put it on your calendar. 33 days till July 10th.
Do I have any comedy movies that take place in prison? Which one would be the best for Chilie to star in? I don't own any, but I know several. Both versions of The Longest Yard, I suppose. Let's Go to Prison. Harold and Kumar Go to Guantanamo Bay. I'd say that probably counts. They're not in it for very long in the movie, but it'll count. There's one with Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. I'm blanking on the name of that one. Stir Crazy, maybe. Ernest Goes to Jail. There are a decent amount of jail comedies. I've never noticed this before. Stir Crazy. Thank you.
You know what? We're gonna win.
I'm gonna say he can be an Ernest Goes to Prison.
We're gonna win on appeal. This case is gonna be overturned.
He's Vern.
And then I'm gonna get retribution by filing my legal paperwork against the county for wrongfully imprisoning me. I should never have been put in jail for this. This is ridiculous. All right, I don't want to sit and complain, bitch. I want to stay positive. My buddy Brian and my buddy Michael are going to go on my channel live and cover.
Was there a Pauly Shore prison comedy? No, the closest he ever got was Jury Duty.
Pullovers and
So not quite, but justice system adjacent.
make sure you invoke your Fifth Amendment right when you get pulled over by these coppers in our country. All right, don't talk to cops. Listen, I gotta go. They're gonna cut me off. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Later, taters.
Oh, Chilie. That's what he's been up to. What else do we have for you today? Gets mad in this one. I could be wrong, but this is another courtroom.
Listen, this whole
have license to practice law. Come on, the jig is up. The jig is up.
All right, let's go with Albert Hicks. Albert Hicks. How he got on my docket, I don't know. It's just the city of Detroit versus Albert Hemmer Hicks Jr. Case number SP 1442547, counts 1, 2, and 3. SP 144-27651. Appearance for the record, please. And strike that, wait a minute, SP 150-087.
So much of being a judge just seems like clerical stuff and putting things on the record verbally. What a pain.
Sperry Jr. On ours.
Excuse me, hiccup.
Elwood Sperry Jr. On behalf of
Turn your camera on.
the defendant, state your full name, Mr. Albert Heimer Hicks, and no one is to speak on my behalf.
Okay.
I'm my own attorney.
You're your own attorney. You're an attorney registered by the state of Michigan.
You don't have license to practice law, and you've been practicing law over the bench.
You say I have been?
Would you like
Why does he think he's practicing law from the bench? Sorry, pulling up captions.
to litigate against me?
I'm not litigating anything against you.
Okay, you have been practicing law across the bench since we started this. And I'm challenging jurisdiction today.
Okay.
Does he think that the judge ruling on things is practicing law from the bench? Because that's not what that means.
What do you want to do, Mr. Hicks? You want a trial date, or you want the offer that's in the back?
I'm challenging jurisdiction.
Who was that guy who was laughing? I'm pretty sure it's this guy's defense attorney. Could be wrong.
Okay, put it in a motion.
I don't have to put it in the motion. I don't have to put it in the motion.
If I say you do, you do.
No, you don't have the right to do that. You don't have a Congress number. You don't have delegated authority to do that.
Okay.
I did see that, Zonlick. Haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet, though.
Well,
or listen to it.
I'm challenging jurisdiction.
Trial date. I'm denying. What is your
Ashley One Up says, they say a man oh wait, they say a man who represents himself has a fool for a client, and by God, I am that fool.
motion? You're challenging my jurisdiction?
I'm challenging everybody's jurisdiction because you have no.
R.I.P. Raul Julia. R.I.P.
Okay, so
honor your oath of office, please. Honor your oath of office, okay?
Are we going to sit here and debate?
I actually don't know what this crime was. Let me see if the information says anything. Not that I saw.
Those
positions is my constitutional right.
If I had to guess, usually with sovereign citizens, it's a traffic thing, so or like a non-moving violation. So like something like not having a license plate or something along those lines. Peridona says, if you don't think court doesn't have jurisdiction, why would you show up to court? Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
It's my constitutional right.
You think so? Okay,
I know so. Are you violating my constitutional rights on how you deem them to be?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
And then please don't have me file for Title 18, 242.
Please do.
Okay, I have a transcript from all the other times I talked with you because you've been practicing across the bench for the longest.
Okay, so what are you going to do today, Mr. Hicks?
Challenge jurisdiction.
And how are you challenging that?
Because you have no jurisdiction.
No, you need to have grounds. You can't just say it. You can't just say, no, you gotta, like, actually have grounds for what you're saying. If you're saying that this court doesn't have jurisdiction, you need to say specifically why. Why do you think that?
You have the burden.
Whatever crime you were accused of, presumably that there is a paper trail in your, initial, like, documents, in your initial arraignment, rather. I'm sure that they had the things listed that you were charged with and where it took place, if it was a ticket or something. I don't understand what you mean.
The proof is on whoever assessed the jurisdiction.
Yeah, it's Michigan again.
Who's the assessor of jurisdiction?
I am, in this case.
Okay.
And I deny that motion.
Why you deny the motion? Because you don't have.
So Mr. Hicks, you're a grown man. Let's have a few seconds. Wait a minute. Let's have a few second conversation, okay? Now let's get this straight. I'm running this show, okay? So if I'm gonna allow you to talk and say what you have to say, you're talking about challenging jurisdiction right now. That's what the discussion is. I say I have jurisdiction. The court rules say I have jurisdiction. The Constitution of the state of Michigan say I have jurisdiction. So I'm denying. No, don't talk while I'm talking. I'm denying your motion as far as you contesting my jurisdiction. Okay? So take your hood off, please. So other than that, what else do you want? How do you want to proceed now moving forward?
I motion to dismiss.
I'm denying.
Motion denied.
That motion. Okay, let me ask you this. What basis?
It seems like he doesn't understand that in court, when you make motions and stuff, you're supposed to have a legal justification. It's not just a thing you want. It's supposed to have backing in the law or procedure. Like, it's supposed to mean something. You don't just say, I want this case dismissed because I hate it. You say, I want this case dismissed because this, and this material fact or, like, procedural thing dictates that it's over, that we're not doing this, that it should be dismissed. You can't just do it just 'cause. Ugh.
Are you denying the motion to dismiss?
Because no crime. No crime.
No crime. We did it.
A bill of attainder. No injury.
That's what the trial's for, is to determine if you did commit a crime. That's the whole point. That's the fact that they're finding in the case.
Party. I told you all of this at the beginning, and you denied everything. You practice over the bench.
Okay, so now I'm going to give you two options.
As a matter of fact, hold on. Give me a minute. You even went through a 10 and 3 because you started threatening me. You remember that?
No, you were the one. Wait a minute. You were the one, Mr. Hicks, that said, "Oh, you can say all that while you're on the bench." Did you say that last?
Black's Law Dictionary request. What do you want me to look up, Marcus Drake? Bill of Attainder? Okay.
Do you have the transcripts? Yeah, I said it. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
I thought about that.
I don't even have a
I
license
thought
to
about that.
law.
Listen, this whole
have license to practice law. Come on, the jig is up. The jig is up.
All right. So now the jig is up with you. So I'm not letting you say any more about this.
Sorry, Judge, that was a weak comeback. You basically said no you. Don't get me wrong, the judge is in the right legally, but if we're judging it simply based on who has the better insults, four. Was it Bill of Attainder? Well, there's Bill. So. Bill of Attainder, legislative acts, no matter what their form, that apply either to named individuals or to easily ascertainable members of a group in such a way as to inflict punishment on them without a judicial trial. United States versus Brown.
I'm denying your motions. Now, I'm going to give you two options. The first option is you can either take the deal that's in the file, or we can. Okay. Don't talk while I'm talking.
I tell you what.
Don't talk while I'm talking.
A few minutes. I got your paperwork ready. I got your paperwork ready. You really
don't
want to
talk?
You really want to do this?
All right. Now I'm going to give you one more time to interrupt me. If you interrupt me again, I'm going to hold you in contempt of court. Okay. All right, so the other option
I don't know how this ends. I'm in suspense. Can he hold it in? Or will he go to jail?
Is we set a jury trial. And we'll set the jury trial. I'll give you motion dates where you can have the dates and you can put all of your stuff in writing that you want before the court. And I'll make a date on that date. I'll make a date when I'll rule on those motions. So, do you want the offer or do you want the jury trial date and the motions dates?
I thought that the trial was up to me, whether I have a bench trial or a jury trial. It's not up to you.
No, it's not up to you. I'm giving you. Everybody has a right to a jury trial.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to allow you to exercise that jury trial right. I'm not going to sit here and entertain a bench trial for you. Let a jury of your peers determine your innocence or guilt.
Why would I do that?
How?
I have a right to either or. You're not the one.
No, you don't have a right. No, you don't have a right to either or.
Yes, I do. Of course, I do.
All right. I'm moving on.
All right, move on.
It feels like this judge just wants like 12 people to tell this guy to go fuck himself. He's like, I can't get through to him. Maybe a jury will. I doubt they will. Cicero Fields, thanks for a 7-stream streak. How's it going?
Answer my question, so I'm moving on. And I'm going to put you out. Or at least mute yourself. All right, let's do this and let's go back on the record one more time with Mr. Hicks.
Record, Your Honor. Dia Chiku Mason, City of Detroit, 434.
Yeah, something's wrong with your volume, Ms. Mason.
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. It might be my mic is down. For the record, Your Honor, Dia Chiku Mason, City of Detroit, 43471. This is the date and time set for a final pretrial in this matter. Your Honor, I did subpoena my officers to be here today for the final pretrial, and I do not see them here today.
Remove your hat, please. No drinking, please. Treat this like you're in the courthouse. Remove your hat, please, Mr. Hicks. All right. What are we going to do? The officers were supposed to be here today. I'm only dealing with SP15, SP1442547, counts 1, 2, and 3, SP1442761, and SP500872. I'm only dealing with those matters. And the officers are not here. So we're going to make this easy. And now, what I don't appreciate is, I thought about that comment that you made that last time. Basically, you're almost like a little lightweight threat that you had toward me, saying that, oh, I'm only doing this. I'm only this way because I'm being protected by the bench. That's absolutely not. I'm the same way 24 hours a day. Okay? So let's get that straight. This robe has nothing to do with me as a man. All right, I'm gonna dismiss the cases because no officer.
Oh, that's hilarious. He gets off anyway because the cops don't show up. He's gonna think he got away with it too. He's gonna be like, see, the sovereign citizen shit worked. The cops just didn't show up. Whatever.
Here.
I would like to collect my costs and fees.
Pardon me?
I would like to collect my costs and fees for having to defend myself.
He got away with it, and now he's asking for money from the judge. He got so lucky. He got so fucking lucky. And now he's asking the court for money?
I don't want to hear anything else you have to say.
Oh, beautiful.
All right, bye.
What a shit show.
All right, that'll conclude.
Sheesh. That was a nightmare. Let's check in on Marcel. How's Marcel doing? Over at Peacemaker Society.
This is a Making It Rain video. We're just going to show you guys what making money looks like. Enjoy.
Peacemaker Society. Welcome to your new freedom. Time to break the chains of corporate slavery.
Time to get your rights back. Time for you to fight back. Yeah, I know you like that. Peacemaker Society. Let's break the chains and do our thing. Built by corporate slavery. Let's all take our freedom back. Peacemaker Society.
Registered, unincorporated. Little bigger to the man, yeah, dog, we made it. We've been dragged down to the bottom. No more of that, nah, we got it. But you gotta make a choice. Freedom of slavery. So easy to see.
The audio cutting out and just hearing the slaps of the Canadian $20 bill. Beautiful. This is a cinematic masterpiece.
There's too much wrong in that GOP, and you're a victim with a legal ID. Yeah, we want to make it free. Walk with me, open your eyes to see.
He really went to the bank and pulled out like 1,000 Canadian dollars. It was like, I'm gonna make a great fucking video. Paradona says, flexing on camera with his his ill-gotten gains, not smart at all.
We don't need it, I don't know more. It all starts with a simple dream. Corruption is really something. Look at a life, stop being stunted. Stop being hunted and break the chains. Your freedom lives here, join the campaign.
Time to get your rights back. Time for you to fight back. Yeah, I know you like that. Peacemaker Society. Let's break the chains.
Presumably the idea is I'm supposed to be someone who looks at this and goes, wow, look at all that money. How do I make that much money? I think part of the problem is Marcel doesn't know how comical Canadian money looks to everyone else. Sorry, that's just a shot at Canada. They don't deserve that.
Let's all take our freedom back. Peacemaker Society, yeah.
Don't vaccinate, citizenship slavery. Time to escape, Peacemaker Society.
It's going on too long. We're not even halfway through it.
That's the way, out the dark to a brighter day. It's your freedom, your way, and online you start right away. Feel the power of natural law, cause you own it all, straight up raw.
No, it doesn't look like stage money. That looks like actual Canadian $20 bills. Like it has the security thing on it, I can see. Obviously, I'm not seeing it in person, but it's not prop money because prop money makes it much more obvious that it's a prop.
They supersede. Shaking my head just like police beatings. We going global, we staying noble.
Did he pay someone to make this song? Oh yeah, he made this song years ago. There was a whole music video with it. He actually paid for multiple songs and raps and stuff for marketing. We've gone over them before. They're pretty bad.
Freedom's here, we the ones to go to. No more suffering, time to usher in the right to live, right to win. Let's begin. You gotta join the squad, eliminate all the madness going on.
Time to get your rights back. Time for you to fight back. Yeah, I know you like that. Peacemaker Society. Let's break the chains and do our thing. Built by corporate slavery. Let's all take our freedom back. Peacemaker Society.
Politicians, police, lawyers, judges.
Got silver coins too. There you go. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 silver. I don't know if these are silver dollars. I don't know what these would be called in Canada. Silver pieces. I don't know what they're called though. Silver loonies? I don't know. They look like actual silver though. Oh, another hand. Toonies are the $2 coin.
Not today, politicians, police, lawyers, judges, hell no. I want none of it, taking all my rights away. No more, not today.
Silver coins are actually really satisfying. I'm not a gold or silver bug. Like, I think all that, like, quote-unquote sound money shit is conspiratorial bullshit. But if you've never had, like, a stack of silver coins, they're really, really, really satisfying to hold and, like, clink together. I used to have a coin collection, and then at some point in my life I had to sell all my silver coins because I was broke as shit, so I had to sell them to some pawn shop. But they're really satisfying.
Join Peacemaker Society by getting your own global sacred freedom and rights membership.
They're not real, they're either commemorative or collectible.
Okay, guys, so you can see you can make lots of money once you claim your rights and freedoms. Please do. And the other reason to do it is to honor and remember what kicked this all off. 9/11, you guys, claiming your rights, escaping the slavery system. Come claim your rights, privatelawtrust.org. And you can email us privatelawtrusts@outlook.com or give us a call, 204-899-7.
I'm sorry. I forgot it ended that way. I watched it earlier and I forgot. 9/11 out of nowhere. Oh.
We understand. Keep your hands off of me.
Oh, is this when they actually tackled the living man? That sucked.
Keep your hands off.
The living man is a nuisance, but you know, he's not dangerous.
Keep your hands off of me. Clinton Hines, you are guilty of conducting a military crime of harboring order. I'm an officer.
Oh.
What are we doing? Back off. Leave me alone, Clinton.
That just makes me sad. Living man's a weird old man who's wrong about things, but he doesn't need to be tackled. Kat has a new video on her foreclosure.
I'm here to just thank you and for joining my show.
For those who don't know about Kat is an interesting sovereign citizen in that she used to be the CEO of a property management company. She had a pretty nice house and pretty nice car. She was doing well for herself. She lived in a little McMansion and had a decent car. And then she got into the sovereign citizen stuff and some QAnon stuff. She's a big Trump supporter as well. She didn't take the conviction well, by the way. She has her own video that she just put out about that. But anyway, she decided because of this sovereign citizen stuff that money, fiat currency, wasn't real. So she decided she was going to stop paying her mortgage and stop paying her car payment because it's all fraudulent and money's not real anyway. And decided that she would be fine and they can't take her house or car from her. They did. And she's upset about it.
This is a very short notice. But I wanted to be able to get on and talk to you today because as I promised, I would give you the truth no matter what happens in my case. Many people who have been following my journey know that I have been fighting bank fraud. Probably was a year and a half ago when I discovered what the banks were doing in the background. But I didn't.
She did lose her house. I still haven't heard if she's actually been removed from the property yet. I haven't watched this video, so that's why I'm curious. She posted this video more recently than we've watched her, so don't know if she's actually been removed yet. But she did legally lose her house, and it has already been auctioned off.
Really have a full knowledge. I didn't have any proof. So I started in my journey to...
This is becoming more and more common with Trump supporters, thinking Trump will unlock the Vatican gold or something stupid where they'll get rich because reasons. Yep, they call it the quantum financial system. Some of them call it Jasara or Nesara. It's a thing in conspiracy communities now where they think that Trump is going to come in, or whoever they think the, good entity is. Usually it's Trump, but there are some anti-Trump conspiracy theorists who just think every politician is evil, including Trump. They believe that they're gonna, introduce this new thing, and they're gonna get all the money, all their debts are gonna be canceled, and their mortgage is gonna be canceled, and everyone will be wealthy. It's ironic, because it's actually, pretty akin to, I don't know, some sort of, communist state where no one has debts, and people just, communally share resources and help each other. But they don't call it that, of course, because communism is evil. So it's kind of funny that people who are, virulently scared of the term communism are effectively advocating for conspiracy theories that end in communism, but whatever. H. Baird says, the essence of Trumpism is that any information you don't like is fake. Thus, his base is made up of people who embrace magical thinking. It is interesting. I would imagine decades from now, it'll be a really interesting sociological phenomenon to look at with some distance. Gillis Filler, thanks for gifting a sub.
Begin verifying and validating.
Is this the new version of the Iraqi dinar scam that came about during the Iraq War? That's actually is related. Some of them actually both still shill for the dinar scam and the QFS stuff. It's pretty interesting. Have I heard of the aberrant new Adobe terms of service? I heard they did something stupid, but I don't know what it specifically was. Something about rights to your work, or at least to have access to it for some reason. I don't know. I heard it was bullshit though, but I don't know about it.
Dating the debt. I had a loan, a car loan and a home loan with Hapo Community Credit Union. And during this time, as I was auditing my books, many people who knew me from before, I read financial statements for 20 plus years. I know how to look at a profit and loss statement. I know how.
That's addition, subtraction. I would hope so. Freyline says they're probably the same people who believe student loans shouldn't be forgiven, ironically enough.
How to read a balance sheet. I've done journal entries myself. I understand the credits and the debits and how that all works. So, and also, being that I was a business owner working with wire transfers, all those things that happen on the back end, and working with banks, I knew how a lot of that worked. So when I started to verify and validate the debt, what I found out was shocking. It was absolutely shocking. And what I found out was that Hapo Community Credit Union didn't provide one penny for my loan.
She's incorrect about that. She doesn't understand that the bank receives money from the Federal Reserve that they get on loan with interest, and then they loan her money at a higher interest rate. That way she pays them, and they pay back the Federal Reserve, and both they and the Federal Reserve get their money back with interest. Part of the economy. Doesn't understand how that works.
For my home mortgage, not for my car, not for anything.
To be clear, that's a very simplified version of it. I just want to be clear. That's like the what am I even thinking of? The model of the atom that's simplified. That's the most simplified way I can explain how that works. So it's not 100% accurate, but it's like close enough that you get the idea.
And in fact, Chris Torres, the vice president of asset recovery with Hapo Community Credit Union, admitted on a 17-minute phone call that I posted, this is probably several months now ago, where she admitted that all of the funds and all the credits on their loans come from the Federal Reserve. The bank provides nothing. And it not only was that for my loan with Hapo, but she admitted it happens with every single man and woman that they lend to. All of the credits come from the Federal Reserve.
All money comes from the Federal Reserve. At some point in the process, they're the ones that issue it. That works.
So that's really concerning. And the reason that's concerning is because in any contract to be lawful, there must be a detriment and a credit. And in that detriment and credit, usually, there's one side gets a benefit and the other side gets a detriment.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It goes both ways. But where is the detriment to the bank when they provide?
I've said this, I'm not a lawyer. I'm a random lady on the internet that listens to this stuff because I'm interested in the mentality of conspiracy theories. I have never heard someone talk about contracts in terms of one needing to benefit and one needing to have some sort of detraction or some sort of, like, something taken from them. What are you talking about?
Provide zero. They provide nothing. And this is, again, something that was admitted by one of their own corporate...
Just trying to say there's no consideration, like it's an unconscionable contract?
Employees. And so at that point, I started to challenge the bank.
Or is that a different thing from consideration?
I challenged the banks because I realized if they are populating credits at the Federal Reserve and selling the promissory note, because that's what they did, they never once provided a wet signature showing
wet ass signature. Gillis Filler with a Black's Law Dictionary request. What do you want me to look up?
Original signature.
Consideration just means payment doesn't have to be in money. Gotcha.
On that promissory note, they securitized that, which is illegal and unlawful, and they sold it to the Federal Reserve.
Consideration and
for an equal exchange of value for digits. In other words, 100% of my loan came from the Federal Reserve only because of my good name, of my good credit. So they took my good credit and my good name.
And they gave you a loan. It doesn't matter where they get the money. That's their business. They got you a loan. Consideration. The inducement to a contract, the cause, motive, price, or impelling influence which induces a contracting party to enter into a contract, the reason or material cause of a contract, some right, interest, or profit or benefit accruing to one party, or some forbearance, detriment, loss, or responsibility given, suffered, or undertaken by the other. Ah, okay. Gotcha. Makes sense.
At that time, and then they had me sign a promissory note, just like they had you sign.
Does she think debt is short for detrimental? I mean, it wouldn't be out of line for conspiracy theorists. They tend to get obsessed with semantic connections that don't exist.
A promissory note, and and then they just sold it. It became a securitized instrument the moment you put your signature on it, the moment I put my signature on it. And so let me ask, so if the bank provides nothing and they have a key or a relationship with the Federal Reserve, but there's these pesky banking laws that say that the banks must provide proof of consideration. That's a banking law.
Cat, you know how you have proof that the bank upheld their end of the contract and provided you with what you asked for? Because you were living in a house that they gave you money to purchase, and then you pay them back while you live in the house. That's what a mortgage is. That's the proof of consideration, is that you got the house in your name, or at least on the name of the mortgage, right? I don't understand. Benekagami says this is just confirmation. They think contracts are like devil contracts. They think someone has to be screwed because the contract is inherently evil. They'd probably call a mutually beneficial relationship an agreement or partnership, which is totally different from a contract. I do find that interesting. I've noticed a lot of conspiratorial people and reactionary right-wing people seem to only think of things in zero-sum games, at best, if not negative-sum games. They never seem to be of the opinion or understanding that people can mutually benefit from working together. It's always competitive. There's never co-op. For, I don't know. Just interesting.
And we have people here in our
community. We benefit as a society all the time from working together. That's what a society is, basically.
In Benton County who are breaking these laws, and we have the deputy sheriff department, and we have the court systems protecting the banks, definitely protecting half of community credit union. So I am here to basically let everyone know, like,
banks and credit unions go out of business. The Fed is not, like, in the business of keeping individual banks and credit unions open.
Like I said, this is, I'm going to share the truth with you. And the truth of the matter is there's no truth in our court systems. And as we have seen what has been happening to President Trump.
Oh, we got on it.
They're just rolling over him no matter what, with 34 phony, ridiculous indictments where there was no laws broken. None. Not.
Except he was convicted, so there were.
One. Where's the law that was broken? When you read each one, there's nothing there.
What are you talking about?
It's all word salad.
It's word salad. She doesn't understand the legal charges, therefore it's word salad. That's what that word means, right?
And you go into these courtrooms and you get these people who are willing for money to adjudicate against the people all day long on behalf of the insured.
Kat, judges don't get paid any differently unless they are actually corrupt and taking bribes. They don't get paid differently if someone gets charged or not. It's not their job to, like, get a commission off of people being found guilty. That's not how this works. Benekagami says it's because they are selfish people in selfish ideologies and are solipsistic, so they assume everyone else must be as selfish as them. That's why they think cooperation and altruism is a lie. The solipsism thing I wanted to, like, viscerally disagree with, but then I remembered that calling everyone else NPCs is an incredibly common tactic on the right. So I gotta agree with you at least a little bit on that.
Insurance companies, the banks, and the corporations.
What is this, Chud Watch now? What is this, a crossover episode?
And so this is, I want to bring this awareness. There are a lot of people out there right now fighting and, fighting for freedom, because we learned that our government created corporations. You can go look that up. So in the DUNS number, Dun and Bradstreet, you can find their DUNS number, which means they are for profit, and they are trafficking the people through this system, and they're adjudicating against the people all day long. If you are pro se or sui juris or anything else, you don't have a shot in hell.
I mean, yeah, if I went into a surgery room and tried to do open heart surgery, I'd probably fail too, because that's not my job. So yes, being your own lawyer is going to be a disaster, because you're not a lawyer. Breaches and Hose says, if you want to learn more about the Trump case, just Google Trump Rule 34. Don't do that.
These courtrooms. And these people don't care about the truth. They've even told us, as we've interacted with these people in Benton County, they've told us flat out they don't care about us. They don't care about the people. They know they don't work for us. How do they know that? Do they know? Maybe they don't. But they should question. There's a distinction between, working for the people and not working for the people. In a private sector situation, we would have customer service. We would help. When I had employees, they would help. If the resident had a question about the lease, they would bring up the lease and show them, give them a copy, and sit them down. And they weren't attorneys, but they were there to help. I mean, so Why is it that the people at the county are not there to help? Why is it that when I turn in evidence, I have evidence of fraud, and I try to bring that to the sheriff's office, I get arrested?
How do you explain to someone who is wrong that they're wrong, who doesn't want to admit it, or is for whatever psychological reason, is incapable? Because that's something that comes with sovereign citizens and conspiracy theorists a lot, is that they're wrong, and that's usually the main problem. Like here, she's like, why can I take all this evidence to there and they do nothing? And the answer, honestly, would be because what you consider to be evidence is incorrect. It's based on misunderstandings, and it's nonsense. But if you say that to her, she's just gonna think you're a sheep, or that you're part of the conspiracy, or that you're too dumb to get it, right? How do you disconfirm to someone that their intuitive conspiratorial worldview is fake when they didn't get into that worldview reasonably in the first place? It's just something that came about because it was their intuition, or maybe they're suffering from some illness, who knows? How do you convince people they're wrong when they refuse to accept they're wrong? I'm just opining now. I don't know.
I had legitimate fraud evidence, yet
you didn't. You didn't.
They just want to ignore that. Usually I'm in a really funny, giddy mood, but today I'm in a very solemn, serious mood, because this is a movement to harm my family and to harm my pets and to harm me and to steal from me as well and potentially kidnap me. And if you know what's been going on with
and she in the like, the reality is the system is not malicious towards her, most likely. The system is ambivalent towards her at best. The system is the system. It is cold, right? The system is saying, okay, you stop making your mortgage payments. The bank has filed a civil lawsuit against you to foreclose on you and to take your house, right? It's not being malicious. It's being the system that it is. She's putting so much individual agency behind the police who did this, not understanding that that's not how this functions. She can't even see the bigger picture of what's actually happening, because she's so focused in on this narrative that she's being targeted for what she found, when in reality, it's just the system functioning to take property and give it to the bank because she stopped doing payments, which is a whole other discussion about housing in the United States and how to build more housing and how commodified it's gotten and stuff is so fucked. That's a different thing. Within the system we have, the reason that your house got taken wasn't because you were too close, because you stopped making payments.
Benton County lately, they're trigger happy, and people get shot and dogs get shot. And so I'm asking for all of you for your good energy and just your good light and your prayers, all of that, because who knows what's going to happen? I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. All we know is that we are standing in the truth, and the truth matters, but we live in a system where it doesn't matter. We all need to be very highly concerned as to the motives and the intentions of these people in the courtrooms who don't work for the people. They won't even look at evidence. They use their little tricks of the trade, and they all know it because they went to school for 4 years to learn it. And that's how they weasel out of everything, squeeze out, put their legalese magic out. And then the next thing you know,
again, calling legal jargon magic.
Cases are getting
being
dismissed by people who are just trying to share the truth. And the truth is that the banks provide a big fat zero. They provide nothing. We live in a country where there's banks on every corner. There are insurance companies on every corner. There's a financial wealth management company on every corner in every business district in all 3,300 counties. That is going on. They're all part of this money laundering, trafficking system that we are living in.
definition of trafficking is so diluted to mean nothing. Not diluted, diluted. Like, she is calling so many things trafficking that trafficking basically means nothing. H-Baird says, I don't know if this counts towards disabusing someone of conspiracy theory, but when I came out to my father, he didn't take it very well, and we didn't really talk for 2.5 years. What finally got him to come around was my mother and I teaming up to show him how much his behavior was hurting me. He loved me, and that was deeper than his anti-trans attitude, appealing to a more core belief that is in conflict with the conspiracy theories could be a way to get someone to come around. That's fair. Not a very universal solution, though, because what happens when you come across someone who doesn't have a core belief that counters the conspiracy theory?
And
I don't know. I guess there probably isn't a generalized solution.
What Trump said is that, they're not coming after me, they're coming after you.
Oh, wow, and if Trump said something, it must be true, right? Very truthful guy.
Now, he's the first, one to now be getting really scrutinized in the media on a national level. But there's a lot of people like me out there fighting for what's right, fighting for the truth. And a lot of these people, like the deputies and the police and, all these people, they don't even know or realize, or maybe they can't even hear that they're slaves in the system, that they are the order followers that have been the reason for every form of slavery in this world. You think about that. Think about it. The order followers are the ones who are the reason for slavery in every part of this world. So anytime you go against a family, I mean, if you're working with a job and they're telling you to go hurt people and steal from people and steal children and steal boats and cars, and doesn't that seem wrong to you? Now, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you thought, well, they didn't pay their bills. But what if, and I will say it's not a what if, the banks are providing nothing.
You literally received a house and a car. You received a house and a car. I don't know how much clearer this could get. President Kagami says, the way you convince people like her to incentivize them is to change it. Part of the reason why having someone close to you talk you out of something can work is the fear of losing that relationship serves as incentive to change their mind. A big part of the problem now is the internet has provided enclaves that protect conspiracy theorists from the social consequences of their behavior. Yeah, you see that a lot in QAnon communities. Them talking about how they've lost their family and now the QAnon groups are like the only people who they actually spend time with, even digitally.
They're selling your good credit, your note, to the Federal Reserve for an equal exchange of value, and then you have to pay for 30 years plus interest. That's what you call slavery.
That's a mortgage agreement that you signed. Like, regardless of where you even think the money came from, your understanding is incorrect. But even if what you were saying was true, you signed a contract, and I've signed a mortgage. I have one. I know how much they make you sign and how much they go over the fucking paperwork and how they're like, hey, here's what's going on. Here's your, like, literal, like, itemized, like, thing of every payment you're gonna make for the next 30 years. Look at that shit. Look at the year 2045 on there. That's not a real year. Like, I've been there. They're very clear about the whole thing. You sign so much. They're giving you tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. You agreed to pay them back. So do that? So do that.
That's modern day.
Like, she was the CEO of a property management company. She was presumably paid rent in United States dollars. So how does she think that worked?
Slavery. And when I was in the Matrix, and when I was working, 26 years in property management and doing, thinking, oh, I'm doing a great job and this is what I love to do. And it was a job that I got paid for. And Gosh, when I woke up, it was just like, oh my gosh, everyone's living in boxes. Everyone is living in boxes, and 90% of our land here in the United States has been stolen by our government. But, you know,
She considers any land you have to pay property tax on to be that, would be my guess. Marcus Drake says, maybe I'm specifically sensitive because I'm black, but I hate how common it is to casually refer to something as slavery. Chattel slavery is one of the worst things human beings have ever done to each other. Calling something slavery should carry the same weight as invoking gas chambers or pedophilia. Agreed.
we don't care because we're watching Netflix, and you know, we've got the movies
You got a bingo? What do you win? We weren't playing bingo.
to go see, and you got to
You
work
win
all,
applause. Hooray! Good job.
all day, and then you got to tend to the family, and you got that 2-week vacation once a year, twice a year. It's so people need to wake up to what's happening, and look what's happening to Trump. Look what's happening to me. The people who are fighting and risking everything.
Isn't it interesting how all the worst people are comparing their situations to Trump? Kat, Chilie, Andrew Tate. Just incredible.
They're coming after us, but it's us first, and it's you next. Because as they raise taxes, raise fees, and as inflation goes up, and all those things happen, well, you know, I mean, you're going to get squeezed out of your home eventually too, and then you're going to become dependent as well. And if you don't have the fighters behind you.
To be clear, you weren't squeezed out of your home. You broke the contract that you signed, which is ironic considering how into contracts sovereign citizens pretend to be. And like, oh, you have an obligation under this contract. I didn't sign a contract when she explicitly signed a contract.
Who's going to fight? We are the ones that are fighting this fight. And so I'm asking right now, any way you can support me while this is going on by sharing this video. That would be the biggest way to support the message that I have been trying to get out for the last year about the bank fraud. And I am here, and I went through the entire process. I got my allodial title, which means that I own this land forevermore. Or
He does not. An allodial title is basically a piece of paper where you say, this is my property forever and ever for eternity. You can't have it. It's mine. And then they pretend that that's like a legal document that no one can take their house or car. It's not even worth the paper it's written on. Benekagami says it's also annoying because half of these people would say wage slavery isn't a thing. Not that my job is equal to chattel slavery, but it's closer than debt is. Let's not play the close game on that. But I don't know. The conflicting ideologies are interesting in that they're right-wing, but they also recognize income inequality in some way, even if kind of in a weird slanted view. Odd.
At least until I pass it on.
Like, people orbit around class consciousness. Like, they're reverse to it, so they, like, they just kind of orbit it in conspiracy land. Oh.
To my family, or transferred on to someone else. Because this is God's land. God created this land for all of us. And they have stolen it, and then they created a bunch of APN numbers, and they opened up a bunch of assessors' offices all across the country, 3,300 counties all across the country, to tax you. This is a prison planet. When I got out and I first began my journey to advocate for the children and to fight for the children, because they were masking our children, they were talking about forced vaccinations back then. So that was why I originally got out. You know, I was part of Bonds for the Win, and you know, and within months of us starting that, everything dropped. Thank God. And you know, now you're starting to see more and more people wearing masks. So okay. I just want everyone to be aware of what is coming down the pike if the people don't stand up. And so,
isn't it coming down the pipe?
So I am going to make my voice heard, and I believe my voice is very powerful. And if I don't, they want to shut me up. They want me to be silent. That's why they posted 3 different notices. I didn't bring them in here, but they posted 3 different notices, one on my sign, one under my keypad of my garage.
Oh, it is Pike? Okay.
And one right in the middle of my 2 garages. 3 of them. And at different times too, not at the same time. They came at different times today to do that. That's harassment.
That's not harassment. They're posting legal notices. I assume they're notices that, like, hey, they're moving in soon, the people who bought this house. We're gonna remove you on X date.
That is full on.
This is gonna be so depressing when she actually gets forcibly removed, because she's just not gonna accept this. She's in complete denial. She really doesn't think they're gonna take her out of the house. This sucks ass. Like, I don't like her. I think she's kind of a shitty person. But, like, holy crap. She has thoroughly ruined her own life in a way that is incredibly depressing.
Harassment from people who don't work for us. And now we're finding that out.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she'll live stream it. She'll probably, it wouldn't surprise me if she gets arrested. Like, I'm sure she's gonna fight back or something, or, you know, try and... Probably not gonna be good.
And so for those who are deputies who are still following these orders and not listening to what's going on, this is you too. You are a slave in this system. And what do you make? 60,000 a year, 50, 70?
How long did she pay on the house and the car? I'm actually not sure about that.
I don't know what you make. I'm not sure. But I'm going to tell you what's been stolen from you, you would give this up in a heartbeat if you realized really what has been stolen from you, and what you have to do. You literally have to sell your soul.
So what does she think she agreed to with that vehicle loan and mortgage? The crux of this is basically that she thinks money isn't real. She thinks that she, you know, signed a mortgage for the bank to give her money so that she could buy the house, or the bank to put up money so that she could go and live in the house, which is what happened. But she has, through conspiracy theory, convinced herself, or been convinced, that money isn't real, that it all comes from the Federal Reserve, and because it's fiat and it isn't based on gold or silver or some other physical commodity, therefore it's not real. The Federal Reserve giving money to a bank for a loan doesn't count, and therefore the contract is void. Now, the same contract, if it was void, would mean she doesn't get the house, because, you know, the money to buy the house came from the bank. But she doesn't recognize that because she thinks money's fake. So...
You have to be soulless to kick people out of their homes.
Ma'am, they're the police. They're going to do it. They are going to kick you out, and it's going to be fucking sad. Please, see reality. This is depressing.
I can't imagine somebody has a soul that does that. Especially if they call themselves a Christian that does that. That's what always gets me. That makes no sense to me. Because God, what does the Bible say? What are the 2 golden rules? We are to love God with all our heart, mind, and soul. And we are to treat our neighbor as ourselves. We are to do unto others as we would want them.
Pretty sure the Bible also says to pay your debts and to render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, which in this case, you know, the bank isn't the government, but you do owe them money, so.
To do unto us. And all that really means is that we don't hurt each other, that we are kind to each other. But there are times, like now, where we have to be a little more fierce in our delivery. And I'm not talking violence here. I'm talking about my voice. And you can hear right now that my voice is a little more serious than normal. Because this is what they're going to do to everybody eventually. And if I'm not going to live in this kind of world where we are slaves, that just cannot happen. And for those who are the order followers, you are pushing the narrative, you are pushing the energy towards the new world order.
The energy?
In your Benton County Justice Center, your
kind and good are not the same. As the wolf said in Into the Woods. Nice, or wait, no. Little Red Riding Hood said, nice is different than good.
System is called the New
Good song.
World Systems. Do you think that is an accident? Do you think it's an accident they call it the New World Systems, and it's inside our jails and our county sheriff departments. This is, they're putting it in your face and you don't see it. It's right in your face and you don't see it. So I wanted to just get this message out. I'm going to leave the chat up. Usually I'm not here to do an hour live stream. I'm here to let you know what's taken place. I told you in the beginning that no matter what, you're going to know the truth and you're going to see the truth on what happens. But you know, this Benton County Sheriff Department, horrible reputation. They you know, fan themselves on Facebook, and then they get all their employees to you know, make nice comments. But most of the people are making comments about the things that they're not doing.
The police department being shitty doesn't mean that you're right. I think that's a hard problem for people. They tend to see things in a situation, they're like, well, if the person who's telling me I'm wrong has ever done anything wrong, or if they're bad, that must mean I'm right. That's not how things work. There can be multiple people who are wrong, or bad, or just incorrect, or whatever in any given situation. Your perceived enemy being an asshole doesn't automatically mean you're right.
You know, them not answering for the pets that were murdered, you know, those police still work there. You know, what actually happened with all of that? And so these are things
I'm actually not sure what state she's in.
That people just need to continue.
I'm sure it came up in the court stuff, but I don't remember.
And I am dedicated and committed to showing all of you what really happens. But we have to really understand that the bank that you
gotta love that understand shit.
Go to, the bank that you pay your mortgage to, they sold your note to the Federal Reserve.
They can do whatever the fuck they want with it. They own the debt. They can do whatever they want. I also don't necessarily believe that you know what you're talking about, but like, a bank that owns your mortgage, yeah, they own that debt. They can do whatever they want to it.
And even if you spent 30 years of your life putting, you know, paying off your house, and you stayed in that house and you did really good and you worked really hard, and at the end, like now, there's people who can't pay their property taxes. They set themselves up. They paid everything off like they were supposed to, but now they're on Social Security. They don't have a lot of money. Everything is squeezed, and now they can't afford their property taxes. And then who's going to come and kick those people out of their homes? It's already happening. It happens every day.
Yeah, I can recognize that that's really sad and a problem that needs to be dealt with, but it has nothing to do with your situation. You aren't in a situation where property tax is built up on you. You aren't in a situation, my knowledge, where you couldn't pay your bills. You chose to stop.
All over the country, and it is a crime against humanity. So I just want
property taxes aren't the bank.
Everyone to be aware. I thank you, all of you who have been following this journey. And you know what? The truth matters. And the truth, in the end, is going to win. And God is going to win. And I don't know if they think that
the just world fallacy's a bitch, especially when your idea of a just world is kind of weird.
They have God on their side.
Oh shit! Raiders, welcome! Hi everyone! I'm Hannah. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a variety streamer that covers all sorts of weird conspiracy theorists, looks at what they believe and why they believe it. We have a lot of fun checking it out. Today we're looking at sovereign citizens, basically people who think that laws don't apply to them and that they can speed and stuff. It's a very weird thing. How's it going? How was your stream? Hope it was great. Make sure you go check out Liv here on Twitch, please. Since we got some raiders, let's pull up a new video. We've been watching Cat for a while. We'll get a fresh start on something. Oh boy, we could do one of these quantum financial system things. We have a Kent Hovind? That might be good. We'll start with this quantum financial system thing. So, a lot of conspiracy theorists, QAnon-related people, as well as sovereign citizens, you may have heard them say something along the lines of, oh, they're going to usher in the new quantum financial system. you're wondering what the heck that is, here's a conspiracy theorist explaining it. It's nonsense, of course, but this is what they believe.
A quantum financial system. The first quantum secured blockchain was first tested in Moscow, according to an MIT article back in 2017.
Oh, good. It's blockchain. Love that. I absolutely have no problems with crypto that make me want to bang my head against a desk.
At the Quantum Center in Moscow, a team of Russians figured out
Ooh, the Quantum Center.
How to secure it from brute force attacks. They built a quantum identification system in which each party can verify the identity of any other in a way that is guaranteed by the laws of physics. Interesting.
He said it, the laws of physics, it's true. By the way, I blame Oprah for all this. Oprah platformed Deepak Chopra, who popularized the use of quantum as this weird pseudo-spiritual buzzword, and now it just proliferates throughout the conspiracy sphere. So frustrating having to explain to people, no, that actually doesn't mean anything in the way you just used it.
A quantum signature is then attached to every transaction, making it impossible to tamper
Quantum signature. Again, it's an append-only ledger.
With. I wonder why they created it like this. Now, I have experience in technology myself personally. I own a hosting company and 2 data aggregation centers, so I have a good understanding of the importance of being first. Remember when Elon said the first to own and monetize AI will rule the world?
Elon says a lot of dumb shit. Remember that time he tried to make vacuum chamber trains? How'd that go?
Well, I believe nothing can be further from the truth when it comes to technology and the right to patents. If Russia was the first to create and secure financial blockchain transfers, then any attempt to compete would be futile. The amount of time to build something similar without stealing the patent is really, really, really hard. That's why Swift and FedNow are not blockchain. I've done research on it. They're not. They don't have it. It's not connected to any type of Bitcoin system. The quantum financial system
using Bitcoin and blockchain interchangeably, which is interesting too,
that we've all heard about is definitely a mystery, though. The only place I can find any information on the implementation of it
is he aware the Russian economy is a giant shit show? But BRICS! Gold standard!
Is on New Age intergalactic.
The people shitting their pants over BRICS make me laugh.
Space Force websites where people claim to receive downloads or channeled information based on meditation or from their sources. This resource doesn't sit right with me, though. Since I base my theology on Christianity, I believe any information we've received from other dimensions are spiritual in nature, and in most cases...
You're sure they come from other dimensions, though. That's the important part. You just feel it. You're like, that's from another dimension.
Maybe evil. Now, there could be a possibility that God has sent his angels down to eliminate evil, and that is the Galactic Space Force we are hearing about. But I doubt it. According to these...
Why would you doubt that? It's so obvious. Galactic Space Force, Christian God's angels coming to seek vengeance against sinners, against the Lord. Makes sense to me.
New Age sites, they say the...
Benny Kagami with 40 bits says a few things. 1, isn't it wonderful how patriots idealize stuff from Russia? 2, how'd this quantum blockchain project Russia's economy being tanked by the US during the war in Ukraine with the push of a button? Oh, it didn't. Weird. No, but it's quantum! It's quantum!
QFS
with a Q! James, thanks for a $9.99 super chat on YouTube. There's nothing clever to say, just wanted to donate to my favorite conspiracy host, Skibidi! Thank you.
And will cover the new global network for the transfer of gold or asset-backed money, initiated by Russia and China to replace U.S. centrally controlled SWIFT system. Remember I talked to you about SWIFT system and what it is, how it's controlled by the Rothschild bank family in Switzerland. It is a methodology based on quantum mapping system to acquire legal possession of every...
How long until he starts talking about the quote-unquote Khazarian mafia?
...asset on the planet. Now that makes sense to me. What if the soccer ball Putin handed to Trump was information about implementing that system here in the United States? They go on to say the
How the fuck do you quantumly transfer gold with the qubits? The qubits get turned into little AUs and they send down the wire.
Space Force.
Explain my shirt, please. It's NASA? Just a NASA shirt.
Continues to say this new quantum financial system runs on a quantum computer based on orbiting satellite or on an orbiting satellite.
A quantum computer based on an orbiting satellite.
And is protected by secret space programs to ensure that it cannot be hacked.
Ooh, secret space programs, like the guys that we've talked to that think they're time travelers, or the people we've watched that think they're time travelers.
The purpose of the new financial...
That's quantum. At least Scott Bakula led me to believe it.
Financial system is to put an end to the cabal corruption, usury, and manipulation within the banking world. Again, that makes sense to me. Russia, China, they have all the technology to do it. You see, Russia controls QFS and is rolling it out through either BRICS or some other form of means. They continue on these galactic sites. No one ever suspected that this powerful quantum computer system could assign a digital number to every fiat, dollar, euro, yuan, yen, sitting in every bank account all over the world and actually monitor it in real time, knowing exactly where the money went, when it was transferred, who sent it by, or login information and what account received it. That's some pretty cool stuff. I believe by basically using artificial intelligence and personal data, this really could...
How many buzzwords is he going to use in this video?
Work.
Now, we didn't get a Web 3 in here, did we?
Russia's QFS could completely ruin...
What is BRICS? BRICS is an alliance of Russia, China, and Iran, along with maybe a few other nations, I don't remember, who try and have their own currency standard backed by gold to compete with the U.S. petrodollar and the SWIFT financial system.
And
Brazil, thank you.
Money laundering and other schemes by the deep state.
Yes, and it is BRICS.
That would be good news. They continue, the quantum financial system is a super advanced, out-of-this-world technology that the dark cabal does not have. It has the capacity to map information sources throughout the multi-universe, basically through time.
First of all, you couldn't say multiverse, weird. Secondly, why would it be helpful for my bank to monitor the multiverse? Like, I just want to buy Pop-Tarts with my debit card. I don't need them contacting Doctor Strange. It's fine. It's fine. Kagami says, you know, in hindsight, so much societal harm can be traced back to Oprah, including idiots thinking philanthropy fixes poverty. Oh, yeah.
The time-space continuum.
Dr. Phil, Deepak Chopra, the Dr. Oz guy, so much just woo-woo. Frustrating.
Where there's time and no space and space. And holds massive amounts of data in a compilation of materials the size of a grain of sand. Pretty high-tech stuff. They're saying basically gone are the days of data server centers the size of football fields. To use this software, you will need a quantum computer, however. It has the ability to
According to my bank, Hannah number 1357 is buying her 4th house. Eat that bitch.
Data from
Eat the rich, especially my multiversal counterparts. Ow.
Dimensions for faster calculations. Now, there's 3 countries that can do this: China, the US, and Canada. They've built these and they own the tech. I would suspect Russia and China combine these and will be using it for QFS. That's just my guess. The simplest answer to this question without involving aliens or demons would be that...
Oh, wow, we got aliens and demons in on this one, too. This guy's a bingo card in and of himself. Holy crap.
Russia and China...
Like, really, I'm trying to think right now. What do we have? We have, like, obsession with gold. We have, aliens or demons. We have believe sci-fi technology exists. Deep state, I would argue, based on how he's talking about, like, the global financial system. Probably thinly veiled anti-Semitism for the Rothschilds thing. Word salad.
Built a better financial system.
For those who came from the raid on Tuesdays, which is tomorrow, by the way, we do Tinfoil Tuesday, where we look at conspiracy theorists, like, all day. And we do a bingo game. Those are some spaces from it.
To replace the dollar, and it can sniff out all corruption. This alone, I believe, would put fear in the eyes of the deep state. I mean, can you imagine losing everything, all the quadrillions of dollars that they have? And I believe they're desperate, and that's why they're trying to start World War III. This may also be why more and more countries are putting in applications into BRICS. It's more secure. Germany and Mexico are huge clues, as they've been controlled by the deep state for decades. What is making them turn to their enemy for financial control? That's a
Oh, holy crap, another big raid. Ellen, from now on, thank you for raiding with 116 people. Welcome, raiders. I'm Hannah. I'm a variety streamer. My pronouns are she, her. We are looking at sovereign citizens today. What I typically do is look at different internet or real-life communities that are conspiratorial in some way. Like, for instance, tomorrow we're doing Tinfoil Tuesday. And we look at why people believe what they believe, what conspiracies they believe, all sorts of interesting stuff. So welcome. Welcome. Make sure you check out Ellen from now on.
Really good question. Especially when they are, and you know they are, blackmailed, or they owe a lot of money to the International Monetary Fund.
I'm getting a lot of followers. Thank you.
In closing, David Lester Straight, an entrepreneur, former deputy sheriff.
That is an adorable little cat, Bilbo.
Who serves on 2 presidential task forces, who personally worked with Trump, arrested thousands of sex traffickers in multiple sting operations. He teaches seminars in Texas.
I'm having a really good day, Chicken Bacon Swiss. Thanks. I hope you're having a good one, too.
Informing people how to take back their sovereignty through becoming a statesman. David knows more about
the new word for it now, statesman. That's interesting. They've gone from sovereign citizens, freemen on the land, state nationals or non-citizen state nationals, statesmen. That's different.
Financial system than anybody I know. I have personally spoke to him several times, and I plan on interviewing him for this channel, if he will let me. Although I can't find any real definitive proof that QFS is real.
You should have started with that. To be clear, I have no evidence of any of this before you go on your 8-minute rant, just full of word salad and nonsense.
Doesn't mean it isn't.
Just because I don't have evidence that unicorns are in my backyard shitting gold on a daily basis doesn't mean it isn't true. I just haven't looked.
If this is to replace the cabal, then secrecy is of the utmost importance. Any clue as to the origination, implementation, and completion must be held secret, as it could give the enemy an actual target. And in closing, again, I just want to say this has no bearing on intergalactic beliefs or people believing in aliens or anything like that. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I just have other beliefs than that, so I'm not dogging you guys. But hopefully this helps you.
I simply believe that aliens are secretly demons in disguise. You know, that old gem.
Kind of a better idea as to what QFS is and why we can't find information on it. And maybe give you a better, clearer understanding of who's going to be rolling it out and who actually owns the technology. In my opinion, it could be China and Russia. They have the means, they have the data, they have the technology, and they have the patents. So hope that helps.
I don't know if it helped, but I found it entertaining. So thank you, random internet sir. Appreciate you. We will do this video real quick. This is David Straight, who is a sovereign citizen guru that does talks all around the country and charges people for his services. Here I think he's talking about NASA. He's talking about NASA.
So NASA, let's talk about this. NASA is telling scientists to send up balloons, but NASA is also sending balloons. They're sending balloons over the same path. And if you start at the south in Texas and you follow the path, that also follows the wind currents and the storm paths. Storms always develop in Texas, come up through Oklahoma, travel up through Missouri, and take that same path every single year.
Yeah, NASA has been using balloons forever. As scientific instruments, like, balloons have been a thing. Like, I'm pretty sure, am I mistaken in that the Roswell incident turned out to be some sort of scientific instrument that was a balloon that crashed?
All the time.
I feel like we've talked about that on stream before.
And that's the direction the storms
yeah.
travel, because that's the direction of the wind. Now you've got the solar eclipse along the same path. NASA's sending up a bunch of their own balloons. What's in them? What do they have the capability of?
They're probably taking readings. Like, if you're talking about it being on the path of some specific weather thing, they might literally be weather balloons. Like, I know that's a bit of a cliche of like, oh, I thought I saw a UFO. It's a weather balloon. That's a cliche for a reason, right? Probably weather balloons taking readings that they're going to use for some sort of research.
A very good friend of mine, who's an intel agent, called me the other day.
You know,
and
the intel agent friends you have.
Said he is being sent to Oklahoma. And he was told to take a gas mask with him. And we talked about this for a while. And he came up with a biological weapon. That's the reason for the gas mask. It's a biological weapon that the sun would ordinarily destroy with its UV light. And there's going to be millions of people along that path standing outside, staring up at the sky in darkness where the sunlight will not destroy a biological weapon.
He thinks they're gonna, like, beam bacteria or viruses to people from balloons?
I'm trying to warn the people right here.
Again, to be clear, this is not just random internet man. This man goes around the country as a job and talks to people about this sovereign citizen stuff. Here's a video that's about 10 minutes long from one of his talks.
What is the legal definition of the word minor?
I'm scared as to where this is going.
It's someone under the age of 18, right? We all know that part of it. Or, this part we don't know, someone of any age who hasn't claimed their minor estate. Have you claimed your minor estate? You're a minor. Have you? Have you? Did you even know you had a minor estate? What if I told you you were worth millions of dollars and you didn't even know it?
I'd say that sounds like a pretty classic scam. That sounds like a pretty classic scam artist tactic to tell people, what if I already told you you're already rich? I just got to tell you the secrets as to how to unlock that potential. That sounds like a scam.
And what if I could prove it to you? And that you have a trust fund, and you're all trust fund babies. And that trust fund is worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
This is a thing that's pretty common as a belief amongst sovereign citizens. What they believe is that effectively when you're born, your birth certificate isn't just a bureaucratic document to, you know, mark that you were born and where and your legal name and everything. They believe that a birth certificate is like a bond, and the bond is tied to you as a person, and that each person, when they're born, somewhere between $1 million and $1 billion, it depends on who you ask, is put into some sort of secret trust account, and it's attached to your social security number, and if you just send in the right paperwork, you can get access to these millions or billions of dollars. It's nonsense. It's a big scam. But people like this, unfortunately, are pretty successful at going around the country and charging people money to give them this bullshit advice. Is this the guy whose wife was in jail and she prayed over the phone at a seminar? Yes, and I actually pulled up some videos of her for today, too, where she's not in jail. Fenekagami says, oh yay, libertarians twisting the definition of the word minors, the classic and my favorite.
And so when you signed that mortgage, they borrowed out of your trust fund and paid it off.
No, they didn't. Nope, when you got a mortgage, you borrowed money from the bank.
And then you just keep paying it back. And paying it back. And paying it back. Why is that? 5 years ago, as ambassador of Voice of Youth, I gave a speech at The Hague.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that's not true.
And I told...
He seems to be a bit of a, how do I put this? Compulsive liar?
Our world leaders the story of a mother.
This reminds me of when we watched that David Wynn Miller video and he claimed he performed heart surgery on himself or something. Or like he was dead for like an hour and then he came back alive and now he no longer has to sleep. That was great. I miss him. I actually have to use the bathroom real quick. By the way, Raiders, hope you're having fun so far. If you are, do me a favor and press the follow button. While I am gone, which will just be a second while I use the bathroom, Chair will tell you about our favorite film, Chairman of the Board. Oh no! My VHS of Chairman of the Board, my most valuable possession. Be right back. Terrible film. How dare you besmirch Carrot Top's masterpiece? What movie have you made? Tiny Meows, thanks for following.
Story of a mother. I was told afterwards from just about everybody that this is the most important story that should be told every man, woman, and child on earth, but that they don't want me to tell it. You never
really building this up.
Tell me not to do something that's right, because then I'm going to tell it over and over and over again. Okay? A mother,
Courtney, thanks
9
for following.
months pregnant. Pay close attention to this, guys. I'm telling you, it's important for your life, your children's lives, your grandchildren's lives, for generations to come.
Oh my God, he's still building it up.
But a mother, 9 months pregnant, walks into a foundling hospital. What is the legal definition of the word foundling? It's a safe place to abandon a child. Did you know all churches, all hospitals, all police stations, and all fire stations in the United States are designated as foundling?
Do I own any rare movies, like limited print or hard to get? Probably. I'd have to think off the top of my head. It's a little tough. Like, I own, like, most of these Arrow sets that I have up here are limited editions. Like, they might still have normal editions that are just the movie, but a lot of these are the, like, when it first came out, limited editions with, like, the normal editions are often just, like, thin cardboard, whereas I have the editions that are, like, I don't know if you can hear the noise it makes, but they're, like, solid, and they have, like, a bunch of extra bonus stuff, and there's more art. Like, it has a little bookmark to pull it out, and they usually come with either posters or, like, booklets that have essays written by film scholars and stuff. I really like the presentation of these, so I enjoy them. But it's not so much that I have individual films that are hard to get, but the editions of the box sets are often, exclusive. Yeah, for those from the raid who don't know, I collect movies. I'm a big movie person, so my collection's almost at 3,000 now. That's all this stuff behind me. It's not books. It's, well, these are books, but, these are my movies and stuff. Some of them.
By Congress. You can take a baby and put it in a basket and walk into any
What's in the basket?
of those 4 locations and set that basket down on the floor and smile and wave and walk out without any consequences to yourself whatsoever. Can you even imagine that? That you can abandon a child? But they designated those places as foundling hospitals. Did they tell you? On a brass plaque somewhere in an obscure location inside the hospital, probably under a stairwell, it says this hospital is a foundling hospital. Foundling hospital. So a mother, 9 months pregnant, walks into a foundling hospital. She goes through a major medical
I'm not sure what this matters. I'm waiting to see what he gets to on this. Or
Childbirth,
where he's building to.
where she's in pain and under duress. She's probably under the influence of painkillers of some type.
What?
You got to be pretty tough to give birth.
Sure, but what's your point?
I wouldn't want to.
Oh, I know what he's gonna say. Prediction. I haven't seen this. He's gonna say, well, when you sign your birth certificate, you're giving your children up to the state, and they own them, and that's how they use you for bondage or something. That's my guess as to what he's gonna say.
Do it.
Do I have the movie White Dog on Blu-ray? I do not.
Anyway, she has that beautiful baby, and all she's thinking about is getting home with it and leaving. But see, the baby in history, throughout history.
I didn't mean, you know what I meant, like to have you in control of the state, under state ownership.
Came out of the water, was tugged.
I didn't mean the fun kind of bondage.
The birth canal, was docked at the dock by the dock tender, where a bill of lading was filled out and received on the cargo, where its soul was taken, its soul plates, the footprints of the baby. The placenta was taken. Okay. They took the baby's soul, then they sent it out with a tug, and is presumed dead and lost at sea until it
I'm sorry, did you just imply that the placenta is the soul of the baby?
should return and claim
People eat their baby's soul sometimes.
its minor estate.
Benny Kagami says, foundling locations are created by safe haven laws because the process of giving child up for adoption is complicated, long, and can get you arrested for child abandonment. Really. This can lead to a lot of children getting killed by their parents who can't handle it anymore, so safe haven laws were created to create locations that you can leave children with no consequences to save children and mothers' lives, and to my knowledge, not every state has these laws. Yeah, it seems like a good thing to have, for sure.
No
Prints are the soul for some reason, for pun reasons. He's conflating S-O-U-L for S-O-L-E, like the sole of your foot. He's claiming that because it's the same name, it's symbolic of taking your child's soul. Conspiracy theorists in general have a pretty big obsession with semantics, or with the definitions of words, and connecting arbitrarily connections of words that sound alike, or maybe share some distant etymology. And they'll use it to justify beliefs, even though that's not how language works.
A physician delivers a baby. Only a doctor does. Doctor is dock tender.
No. See what I mean with the puns
the
again?
Baby is a vessel. A ship. That's where the all caps name comes in. If you look at the names of ships, they're in all capital letters. Okay? No one disclosed the terms and conditions of the contract, yet you were handed a stack of papers to fill out, and you were only told, and this was right out of the nurse's manual, this is just...
Soul and soul only works in English? You're assuming that they don't think that this is Planet America. M. Scheffler says he thinks the legal system is run by magic spells. Where are all the hundreds of millions of dollars he's claimed from his account? Where is the community of mansions his followers have bought? How anyone could fall for this nonsense is beyond me. A lot of people are desperate. A lot of people also want things to be true that would make their lives easier, even when they're absurd, especially when they're desperate. I don't know. There's a certain amount of culpability for falling for scams, but at the end of the day, for me, the main culpability always comes down on the asshole selling the scam. But yeah. We should do a better job at teaching people and educating them from a young age how to spot scams and misinformation much better than we have. Joan Corbell says the word soul comes from the Latin solum, which means pavement or bottom. Heyo. The word soul comes from the German transliteration of the Greek word psyche, breath, or spirit. These people need to take an etymology class.
Just to
They
register
don't even need to take a class. They could Google it.
your baby with the state and to give it a name. And you fill out the paperwork and you name your baby and you sign as an informant. What is the legal definition of the word informant? Someone who gives someone else up to another, thereby giving the title and equity of your child to the state. This creates a doctrine called parens patriae. Guess I should write that. It's Latin for state as your parent.
Black's Law Dictionary request depraved ambiance. I assumed it was going to be informant.
State as the parent. Creates the doctrine of parens patriae. Through this doctrine, that's how they have control over you. And through your consent of being a citizen, a person, a resident. 3 things you never want to be. The doctrine of parens patriae. So, no terms and conditions of the sales contract were given. No full and honest disclosure of the contract. No 2 wedding signatures. No one there was securities licensed, insurance licensed. No prospectus was given. If you go to your stockbroker and you want to invest in a corporation,
Informant is not... Oh, wait, maybe it is.
He is required by law to give you a prospectus, right?
There we go. Informant. See informer. Informer. A person who informs or prefers an accusation or proffers an accusation against another whom he suspects of the violation of some penal statute. An undisclosed person who confidently volunteers material information of law violations to officers and does not include persons who supply information only after being interviewed by the police officers or who give information as witnesses during the course of the investigation.
And you weren't given one. What I'm trying to teach you here is it was all done through fraud without any full and honest disclosure of the contract. You were licensed, bonded, insured, your vessel was created, a sus to QV trust was created. A sus to QV trust is an individual trust underneath the umbrella of the public charitable trust.
This guy goes on for 3 hours, by the way, and it's a multi-day seminar, 3 hours a day. And people pay for it. That's wild to me. But then again, people also listen to me talk for 3 hours at a time most days, so... glass houses. And this is his wife, who went to jail. I'm not sure if she still is, but she was in jail for a while at least.
Hi everybody, welcome today. I am joined by Bonnie Straight. We are here at the Republic of Texas, and
The Republic of Texas is their organization that I think intends to, as you would imagine, make Texas separate from the rest of the United States. If you're curious what that weird flag is behind them, by the way, a lot of sovereign citizens believe that that is the secret United States peacetime flag. It's not. Just a really ugly flag.
your embassy, basically, right?
Yes.
There is quite the movement that has been happening. We're a little tired. We've been at a conference for several days, for, I don't know, what, 12 hours a day, it feels like, bringing the Republic back together.
Right.
Talk a little bit about the peace flag behind us and what you're doing and what's happening with the movement of restoring.
Why do you have a flag on your TV? Like, as much as there's a lot to talk about here in terms of the things that they're incorrect about, but is that there most of the time as a decoration? Do you take it off when you watch the TV? Or when you were looking for a place to do the interview, or you just like, where are we going to put the flag? let's drape it on the TV. I don't know. Just seems odd. H-Bird says yes, but only the dumbest among us pay money as part of it, with 40 bits. Thank you.
The Republic.
Oh boy, there's a lot.
There's a lot.
The peace flag, not everybody knows, this is the peace flag, the one that we've always known and seen hanging on every flagpole is a war flag. Who knew? I never knew that we had been honoring war this whole time. We are entitled to live in peace, which is where our happiness and our joy is. And there's a lot of fraud about creation of war, and there's a lot of warmongers that profit from keeping us at war. That's a whole bloody trail that we don't necessarily want to go down.
So every peace flag is just the opposite? Yeah, it's like your away team uniforms. Toreador says, oh no, I'm late. What did I miss? Oh no. Just nonsense. Don't worry about it.
We're here at the Republic of Texas because the Republic of Texas is the real de jure government. The only
de jure? You sure about that?
The one that Texas has that's not incorporated. We do not profit from our wrongdoing like the state of Texas that pretends to be real government. It's not. I can give you real live examples of that, but we don't have time to go into all those stories. Because I know.
What do you mean you don't have time? It's a YouTube video.
We have limited.
You can talk as long as you want.
Time.
Well, you're the general counsel for the Republic of Texas.
Yes, I am.
So.
Oh no. Has she ever been to law school?
So this is standing up the de jure government, unlike, from what I'm understanding, we're all learning the process, and Bonnie's been doing this a very long time, is standing back up the real true republic, not these corporation, the fiction corporation.
Right.
And
sovereign citizens, as part of their mythology, believe that the United States government, county government, state governments, they don't believe that they're actual, like, public entities. They believe that they are secretly for-profit corporations that have taken control of the United States some point during its existence. It depends on the sovereign citizen. Sometimes they think it's with the 13th Amendment is signed. Some of them think it's when the Federal Reserve was founded. It really depends on what their grievance is. It depends on if they're just a gold bug sovereign citizen or if they're a white nationalist sovereign citizen, basically. Hydrate will do.
And taking back our status, talk a little bit about how people, when they come into the knowledge that they can change their status, what does it mean to change your status as a state national?
A few people know that we have been in a slave system through that 14th Amendment that we thought was a liberty. It's actually a corporate fiction that was structured in the Lincoln era under Civil War power. They were able to come in and do a corporate overlay on all of our nation states. And
none of that's true.
And incorporate them all. Well, when they did that, there's some axiom of law that in order to have a contract, there must be like kinds. So they knew that a corporation cannot interface with individual people without a contract. So they had to make us corporations too, which is why they started to capitalize all of our names. So if you notice on your original birth certificate, a lot of us, it comes out with our name upper and lowercase. Well, within 2 weeks, we get a brand new birth certificate that's in an all capital name, that's a bond, it's a corporation. In the federal code book, they call it a vessel. It is a
I promise you they don't.
If you look at your driver's license, if you have one, it's that all capital name. If you have gotten an esteemed degree from some university, it's got an all capital name on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, official documents often have people's names in all capitals because it's the most legible.
A lot of computer programs, even in courts, they will only use all capital font.
Yeah, on proper names in court documents, they generally, as a standard of how they have their documents formatted, because there are different courts have different, like, standards and rules for their formatting. It is generally true that as part of the format, proper names are in all capital letters to differentiate from other things, so they stand out and you know what you're looking at. Also makes them more legible.
on everything that has to do with names that you're typing in. So a lot of times we wind up using the all capital name, not knowing it has a totally different meaning to it than the upper and lowercase name. So we, the upper lowercase name, known as the living men and women, that's where our rights are, where the all capital name is a corporation, and corporations don't have rights, they have benefits and privileges.
Again, so what they're trying to do here is semantically, through words, through definitions, and sort of the idea of a social construct of a legal entity, divorcing themselves from any sort of legal culpability for their own actions. So the system doesn't have power over them, they think, because they have divorced themselves from this quote-unquote corporate straw man that they think is a facsimile of themselves that exists as a birth certificate. None of that's true. All of this is just a nonsense way to justify their belief that they no longer have to follow laws and that the government doesn't have authority over them, all sorts of stuff.
So it's very interesting that whole concept of knowing that I'm not that corporation name that was created by the state.
Fraudulently, without us knowing.
Without us knowing. This
Right.
is how our rights have been stripped away. If you wonder why you go to court and your rights are not honored, not respected, no due process exists, searches and seizures are done every day without a warrant, all day long.
You don't need a warrant for a search and seizure necessarily under the law of the United States. You need a reasonable articulable suspicion to search, generally, is my understanding.
CPS is taking kids, no due process. It's because they're treating you as a corporation.
Like, the Fourth Amendment protects you against unreasonable search and seizure, not any search and seizure under any circumstances.
When you're not, you're a living man and woman created in the image of God. There's a maxim of law, that which one creates, one controls. So God is the one that created us as living beings of
The law doesn't recognize that. The law has nothing to do with your personal religious beliefs.
energy, created in his image to be a perfect reflection of him. He's the one who controls us, right? That's maxim of law. That which one creates, one controls.
That is not, a maxim of law is not, God has ultimate control over you. Your personal beliefs are irrelevant to the functioning of the court.
Created me. I'm controlled by him. Well, the state, really, I see it as a total usurpation of God's authority.
Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. Obey your earthly masters.
Because when the state is...
I'm not even Christian. I'm just saying, either follow Jesus or don't. Pick a lane.
Saying things like in a wedding, a pastor says...
A terrifying belief? Oh yeah, it's the ultimate endpoint of Christian nationalism. The government doesn't have control over me, only God does.
This day I would announce to you, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, by the power invested in me and by the state of Texas. Do you see the fraud?
It's a corporation.
The state of Texas doesn't make marriage. That came out of the Garden of Eden.
They facilitate marriage contracts. Your marriage as a religious or spiritual thing is a separate entity from your marriage in a civic context. They both exist simultaneously, often, but they're not the same thing. M. Scheffler, with 31 months, says, "My God, the ads are horrible. Why? Why? All I did was try to renew my subscription and I got 6 ads. I hate Twitch times 3. I'm sorry." Gregory Terms, I appreciate you subscribing, though. Thank you. Gregory Term says, "One of the people in my little town has an inverted Sobsit flag and a fraudulent license plate." Oh, fun.
It came out
Wonder
of
how
Adam
often they get pulled over.
and Eve in the garden. God is the one who created marriage.
Again, the secular civic concept of marriage is not tied to any of that. Your personal religious beliefs are your own, has nothing to do with the civic institution of marriage.
The state have any power to invest anything in
And marriage predates Christianity, so fuck off.
Pastor when there's supposed to be a separation of church and state anyway. Why do we know that? Because we have put that separation in this nation.
Like, does she think that non-Christians don't get married? Like, historically, globally, anything? Does she genuinely believe that marriage is a solely Christian institution?
Specifically because there was so much religious oppression and tyranny, compelled worship, forced worship burned at the stake for not obeying certain doctrines of it.
Okay, Harold Edelman, I'll try.
Certain very large churches. I don't want to offend anybody by naming them, like the Catholic Church. Oops, did I say that?
Yeah.
I don't want to get in trouble with my Catholic.
Wow, an American Protestant who doesn't like the Catholic Church. Gasp, shocked Pikachu face. No one cares.
Well, they know.
We love them. It's
yes.
Does that mean we aren't married anymore? No, we're married.
System that is been harsh and austere and has a long history of that. But the church and state should always stay separate because there is a risk that there will be compelled worship, and even the book of Revelations talks about forced worship.
You're not in the book. You're in. What are you talking about?
Not being able to buy or sell unless you have the mark of the beast. It's found in Revelations 13.
We're on the rapture. We're doing rapture theology in this video that's supposed to be about the law.
Interesting.
We've been going through a lot of that with people not being able to go places or open their businesses. We started to actually feel and taste what that might look like through all the COVID issues.
And we would have never guessed a few years ago that you would have the state tell you what to wear. Wear a diaper on your face.
Oh my God, they did it. They did the face diaper. We did it.
That the state would practice medicine and tell you to go get a shot that you...
The state isn't practicing medicine, you No, be nice. Don't just call people dumb, Hannah. Hannah, don't just call people dumb. That's not constructive. That's not helpful. And most importantly, that's not entertaining. Get it together, bitch.
You know you don't need because you're not sick. And the state would tell you to wear this and wear that and do this and do that and stand this feet apart.
Can you believe the state requires me to wear clothing before I exit my home?
The reality is...
Tyrants.
That mask...
Benikagami says, the way religious people think of marriage is symptomatic of the same mindset of Sav sits. Christianity wants to believe marriage belongs to them and has to adhere to their rules, but they want societal and government benefits for their marriages and want society and the government to have no say in how marriage should work.
Wearing and 6 feet apart is actually used in satanic rituals.
That was mind-blowing when I heard somebody
Standing 6 feet apart is very satanic.
Say that.
Yeah.
Please everyone be very satanic with me and keep a distance. It's my social anxiety, but also definitely Satan.
And it is part of their religious practice when they're doing satanic rituals.
Well, I have felt for a long time, like when I started looking into, like, why does this mortarboard, what is this? I learned that it was a mortarboard on the hat and the cap and gown, and that it was some sort of like Masonic ritual when you go.
Mortarboard.
Graduate. I found that out. I was like, oh, you're a tool now. I'm like, oh my goodness. So they're like laughing at us as we get degrees. So there's these things that kind of started to wake me up along the way. And one of those things was Child Protective Services.
Right.
And talk a little bit about some of the,
So many terrible parents get into sovereign citizen stuff because their kids get taken away by the state for neglect or abuse. And then they get into this because they don't want to change their behavior or recognize that maybe it's my own fault my kid got taken away.
You've encountered.
M. Scheffler says, how do they have satanic orgies while standing 6 feet apart? Satan is... Sorry, I have multiple punchlines, but I can't say any of them.
And where the wins that you've been having against CPS.
God has been really good to us. We have gone just in the last month where we have stopped 2, and I know that's not enough. It never is, but it takes so much time to stop the fraud that they're doing through CPS.
Mr. Duck Sauce, thanks for 8 months. How you doing?
So we had a lady that her kid had a seizure at school, and the child has a seizure condition. And the doctors can't do anything about it. She's taken the kid to the hospital. They can't do anything about it. CPS wanted to get involved. The school called CPS on the mother because they wanted to whisk the child off to ER. Well, when in the past they've gone to ER, I guess I'm making this story way too long. CPS wanted
No, if anything, you're being vague enough that I'm concerned about the details that are missing.
to contract with her. Well, when you know that all governments have been incorporated and these pretend...
So, wait, she didn't want the kid to go to the ER? Yeah, I see why that would be an issue. They wanted to get your child who was having a seizure medical care and you refused? I could see why that would maybe be an issue.
to be government agencies such as CPS, WHO, CDC,
IRS, they're all incorporated.
They're all incorporated, and they cannot do business with you unless you have a
Federal corporations are a thing?
contract with them. Well, I know
the FDIC is a federal corporation. I don't know about the other agencies they listed, but like, it's still the government, regardless of how it's actually filed or classified. It's not a for-profit private corporation.
know that, but it's a matter of me trying to educate not only the CPS agent that doesn't know it, the law enforcement officers don't know that, and the people, we just assume that they're government, you know? A lot of times you'll have judges compel parents to go and contract with CPS. They can't do that. Judges cannot force you into a contract.
Interactions with CPS are not a contract.
That's not power.
Sovereign citizens tend to frame everything as if it's a contract. Every interaction with the government is a contract, because they think they can just basically say, well, I'm not entering into contract because contracts have to be voluntary and conscionable, and I refuse. Not how it works. You can't just opt out of society.
Power that we've given
Certainly not while being in it.
To them to force us to do anything. There's magic words of saying I don't consent. This lady had contacted us. I stood in the gap. I spoke to law enforcement, tried to educate them. They were willful and intentional in their conduct. They would not hear reason. They would not hear that there's limited power. The CPS is a for-profit corporation. I had to step in and help this lady create documents for her that she could use in her court case, and we got the case dismissed. And thank God she never got the CPS agents never got their clutches on the children. Because what we're seeing continually is that once they do that, the kids are gone forever. The kids...
I mean, in a lot of cases, yeah, I'm not going to pretend that CPS is perfect. In fact, I'm sure that plenty of bad things happen and that it gets misused. Systemic problems run deep in this country. But, like, a lot of the times people get taken because their parents are negligent or abusive. That's not to say the system they get put into is good, but there is a reason that CPS exists.
Are put in...
I hate this kind of discussion because it usually comes down to people who think that their children are their property, and that always grosses me out.
Homes where they are knowingly molesting the children.
Holy shit, that's certainly a claim.
That they are satanically ritually abused. They call it SRA, satanic ritual abuse. It's a thing. It happens.
Talk about how...
This is just QAnon, satanic panic stuff. No evidence. You just believe it.
How many kids go missing off of the rosters? We've heard that even on mainstream news. How many kids are going missing through Child Protective Services a year, do you guess?
When I looked at the numbers back in 2017, it was 700,000 to 800,000 a year all over the nation.
I'm sorry, did you just say that you think almost 1 million children per year were going missing, never to be found? No, that's literally impossible.
In all the nation states combined.
That
That's
went
almost
missing
1 million
or
a
that
year.
were taken from homes.
And it could have been either, because I didn't do a
It
breakdown.
could have been either. That's a pretty, I mean, what the number you're saying is matters. What do you mean it could be either? No, it's either or. Where's that number coming from?
Down, but
God, they're the worst.
Those were children that were removed from their home. And I have seen a federal court case in the Southern District Federal Court in 2019 because there was a cause of action brought against CPS. And the good judge in the Southern District stopped what they were doing and rendered a judgment. And the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals out of Louisiana, which is the appellate court for the Southern District Federal Court, overturned some of the rulings of the judge that actually rendered a very good ruling. Because I was so excited that this was a federal judge. I'm like, yay, somebody's standing up for the people. And then the Fifth Circuit overturned a lot, which to me, they're supposed to be protecting the people.
Right.
They're supposed to also be an Article III court. And I'm like, oh man, this is, because when I read, and there were thousands of pages of documents filed in this court case. I didn't read all those, but I read like a 36-page opinion that was quite lengthy that the federal court had ruled on. And one of the terms that really struck out at me in this judge's opinion was that these children had been traumatized that were in CPS care beyond that of war vets from Vietnam.
Whoa.
They were traumatized.
How do you measure I guess I'm genuinely asking, is there some sort of attempted objective measure of how traumatized someone is? Because that seems like a pretty subjective thing to try and measure. I don't know.
Traumatized that much. So it's severely abused.
Like you literally put it up and it goes beep, 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 beep. And it's one of the measures is like Vietnam War veteran.
Now.
One of them, the highest level is Jacob's Ladder, the movie. Fenikagami says, the primary reason that children in the foster care system would disappear are ran away from home for a variety of reasons, fell in with the wrong people because of mental problems they developed from stuff that led them to be in the system, kidnapping from birth parents, and finally the foster parents did something sus. The foster care system is unfortunate. Let me be clear about that.
I know I'm not going to be popular putting this video out, and that's okay. I'm not here to be popular. I'm here to tell the truth.
Popular. You're
The
gonna
judges
be
that
popular.
are doing this stuff through CPS know that the kids are going to be traumatized.
ADHD. You're welcome.
They know that when a child is traumatized and grows up into a grown-up, that they are going to have drug and alcohol dependency issues, because a lot of times those soul wounds that are created when a child is young, that person, that young man or woman will turn to drugs and alcohol to Band-Aid.
Yeah.
They're hurting.
Right.
And they will turn to drugs and alcohol for relief. And so they will, there's a very strong propensity that they will be in and out of the criminal justice system. And right now, the way that the justice system exists under Admiralty Maritime Law is that they profit from getting those young men and women addicted to drugs so they can put them in the jails. I mean, there's so much profit in it. There's monetizing of securities. They're tapping into their Sustacade trust account.
But explain that really quickly with beginner's eyes. Somebody watching this says, what do you mean they're tapping into a trust fund? When you get a case, explain that process where, so by which now there's a case about a course of action, and there's a case, and now there's a CUSIP number, and that we all actually have these trust funds that, because we were bonded when they turned us into a corporation when we were born. Explain that process a little bit.
This is the same nonsense $1 million account thing her husband was talking about in the previous video.
Okay, so when there's a cause of action created in a court, and it can be two neighbors having a controversy over a fence line boundary that's 6 inches on somebody else's property, and so a neighbor sues a neighbor. That CUSIP number, it's usually a 9-digit number, the judge will take it and to the cause number, add a CUSIP number. It'll wind up being sold to the federal courts. Did you know that that's the middleman? Sorry to be so...
Phyllis Filler, thank you so much for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Thank you.
And I'm not going to be popular after putting these facts out. They will monetize it as a debt. They will attach it to a CUSIP. They will attach the CUSIP to a ticker symbol and a bond, and it's traded on the bond market. So it's monetizing, it's rolling, and there is a trust that we all hold. That's a whole separate animal. It came out of the 6th.
Benigami says, always remember, kids, satanic ritual abuse is bad. Christian ritual abuse is good.
1600s, it's linked to the IMF. When we had, back in the 1933, done a lot of things to stop our money system and to go with the IMF and
the Federal Reserve and all that gets going.
All those great things that you know.
Yeah, but people don't know that they
Right.
were turned into a corporation and that they are, that they're literally being traded on the bond market, and that there's a trust fund that is tapped into every time that we go into court.
Right.
And there's so much to know and so much to talk about.
But the children being traumatized, here's what's
Yeah.
important to know, is that it sets the courts up for future fodder for the criminal justice system, where they make an absolute fortune draining the trust, millions of dollars. Over a misdemeanor, they can make millions. And
No, that's just objectively untrue. Normal Gamer Gal, thanks for 9 months, says, my first sub-baby. This sub-baby's name is going to be Evangeline Papaya. Evangeline Papaya.
even a third degree felony, which is
They
a
can't all be golden.
low felony, a first degree would be
Mhm.
a high felony. It's millions of dollars.
And
that
who
they're making.
knew that the courts, when I found out that the court actually had a Dun & Bradstreet number,
Right.
it was a
Raja, thanks for 31 months.
private corporation, I was like,
So does the state of
excuse me?
Texas.
Oh, and a hype train kicks off. Heck yeah, thank you, Raja.
Right.
Tells you it's not real government.
Right. It's not real. It's a fiction corporation with the name.
It's profiting from the wrongdoing of their agents. And what I have
63% to level 2. Hydrate.
seen, because I filed complaints, the Texas Commission on Judicial Conduct is not an oversight for the judges. What they do is they are a cover-up agency for the crimes that the judges are doing in the courts. I've seen it myself.
Yeah, the numbers that they're referring to aren't just for companies, but it's something sovereign citizens use all the time to try and justify their belief that that public government entities are private. It's a shame.
Because I've seen some outrageous things, and the Texas Commission on Judicial Conduct will say, oh, well, we don't find anything wrong with it, what they've done. And I mean just outrageous denial of due process.
Maybe you're just wrong. M. Scheffler with 50 bits says, last bits for hype, thank you. And Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub to Anger Farts. Good name. 85% to level 2.
Complete tyranny, complete extortion,
So it's like
complete fraud.
Collusion. And so these are the reasons why you, as Counsel General, you have, you're playing a role. There's many others that participate in the Republic of Texas. A lot of people don't even know that this exists.
Right.
The word is getting out faster and faster. Now, how many millions of people have now corrected their status? They have
Millions? You think millions of people are in your organization? Scotty, thanks for 23 months, getting us over level 2.
in an article of repudiation. They've renounced their citizenship, not to the United States, but the corporation, taking themselves out of, talk about how they've taken themselves out of that and how many people you think it is.
So it's called U.S. citizen, which is just it's been, we were raised believing that, oh, we're prestigious, that's elite, we're special, we have all these special benefits, perks and privileges, blah, blah, blah. It's really, you're signing up to obey 1 billion codes and statutes without a paycheck, without a car allowance.
I'm not gonna murder anyone today, and you're not even gonna pay me? What is this?
Without an expense account, without a 401k, and yet you have to obey, and if you don't obey, you're going to prison.
Yep. Welcome to being a human in society. Joker meme.
Or their corporate jails.
Yeah, the
so
private.
Excuse you, Mr. Hammurabi, if that's even your real name. I never contracted with the laws that said if I stole bread, you'd cut my hand off.
For-profit
Not up to you. That's not how any of this works.
jail.
It's a very fancy, very elaborate slave system.
Mm-hmm.
That there are bars that we are behind, and we don't even know it. It's that elaborate that they could have bars right in front of us that we don't even know we have.
Right.
And that we're slaves and don't know it. So
Yeah.
what we do is we teach people how to do an affidavit of repudiation. You're repudiating your U.S. citizenship, and you're claiming your state national status, which I'm a Texian. I was born on Texas soil, still on Texas soil. And so when you do that, that's where your rights and liberties are. It's not from the U.S. Because see, the U.S. The United States is a federal corporation under 28 U.S.C. 3002, Section 15A and B.
Which
it's
is
a fiction. It's
which
a
is no
corporation.
longer, it's bankrupt and gone, and now it's
Yeah.
what, called White House Inc. or something like this.
They changed the name.
They just stand another one up, dummy corporation,
The
really quick.
United States is a federal corporation.
There's so much to know, and it's really deep, and there's a lot of your conferences coming up. Where can people go to learn more on your website and then sign up for the next beginner conference?
The Texas.
She seems pretty persuasive about payment to follow laws, and then there's a link. See what this is. Oh, God.
If you're good at something, never do it for free.
Not as good as the magic trick.
TexasRepublic.com is the website that we have for the Republic of Texas.
If not,
'Cause
big dick energy.
We are the
Thanks for
real,
the link.
de jure, legitimate government that Texas has, the only one. We protect the people. We talk to them about their rights. We teach them and educate them about their liberties. If they want off the slave ship of the U.S. corporation, called 28 U.S.C. 3002, Section 15A and B, the United States is a federal corporation. It's right there in their codes. If you want off that slave ship and you want to stand on your liberty, on the land, on the soil, and claim your God-given rights, right? That which one creates, one controls. God made us. He controls us. You want to do
Nemesaur, thank you for gifting 20 tier 1 subs. I appreciate you.
that.
You're always around, gifting. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
We teach people how to do it, how to correct their status, how to stand on the soil, how to claim their God-given rights. And
Make
really,
sure everyone thanks Nemesaur for their gift subs, as well as anyone else who gifted. Much
if I was to
appreciated
advise
and helps the channel.
anyone, that is the most essential element that you can ever claim. Because we are creatures, I shouldn't use the word creature, but we are a creation of our Creator.
By D&D rules, we are creatures. That's kosher. Mr. Blast, thanks for 400 bits. Thank you.
I mean, it says that right in the Declaration of Independence. We are endowed by our Creator with these inalienable rights. When
Benikagami says, I'll forgive you not reading this out. All I hear with their stupid slave talk is, ooh, yeah, I'm not gonna read that. I know you're just quoting a terrible thing for them to say, but I don't feel comfortable reading that, even as a joke.
you stand on that, and you know that you don't have a contract with that corporation, they cannot rule over you.
Cruelty with 50 bits says, thank you. I was in a car accident earlier today. Oh no! And the stream gave me some laughs and helped calm down. Appreciate it. I hope you're doing okay. You're here, so I'm guessing you're okay, but I hope you don't have any whiplash or anything. That's not fun.
For example, when we get out on the highway and speed limit says 55 and we're going 60.
According to Magic the Gathering, it does say humans are creatures. Well, there you go. That's 2 for 2 Wizards of the Coast products that say we are creatures. I'd count that as empirical. DM Trey says, bye Hannah in chat. I'm hopping off for D&D. Catch the VOD. Have fun. Bye.
How many people have gotten pulled over for going 5 miles over the speed limit? And we don't question
Don't
the fact.
fucking speed! What do you mean? You say 5 miles over, like it's like, I was only going a little bit over. Okay, don't speed! Don't speed. Don't do that.
That there's no injured party, and yet it's a crime. It's called a misdemeanor. So they're going to issue you a ticket, and you're going to pay money for doing what?
A ticket isn't a misdemeanor. A ticket's a ticket. What? Like, I think it depends on the state, but like traffic court things, traffic infractions aren't necessarily misdemeanors. They're infractions that are paid through tickets.
Harming somebody, there's no injured party. Why would you have to pay a $400 fine for going?
It's preventative to try and keep you from doing that behavior in the future for fear of getting caught and paying a fine.
5 miles over speed limit. That's just an example of a slave system. And a lot of times
Apparently slavery is just when anyone tells you can't do something, which is a very telling about their lives, isn't it?
Our most difficult job is to teach law enforcement that they work for a corporation that we're not a part of.
Right.
And we love them, and they're our friends, and we would love to have them operate a legitimate government that does not enslave.
It's only legitimate if they do what I want. 67% to level 5 on the hype train.
The people that actually
serves them
and protects
actually
them.
serves and protects.
We originally created. We
Right.
created a government that protects us. That's
Right.
found right in Article 1, Section 2 of the Texas Bill of Rights.
Not you.
Yeah. I mean,
I know she's talking about Texas anyway, but I don't know.
There's so much.
The original United States Constitution didn't really give a shit about women, so.
to know, and Bonnie knows a lot of it, and her husband David is amazing. So you should go online and look at David's. I like Out of Babylon. Just start there,
Yes.
and watch those. I think there's like 8 videos. I mean, it's 8 hours worth of videos, I think.
There's a David Lester Straight Telegram channel where I do post updates when we have a brand new CPS victory. I created documents where we're just setting people free from
Former
CPS
Gamer Gal,
slavery.
thanks for
I've got
300 bits. Minute left on the hype.
another one that I'm right in the thick
72%.
of working on.
There's so much. We
Yes,
had common
so
law
much.
courts yesterday, watching how it all operates here in the state of Texas, or the Republic of Texas.
Yes.
And
Almost said it. Would have got you with the word magic. You almost called it a state.
it's really exciting. And so thank you for joining me and starting just this will inspire a lot of people to go and start to dig more and say, wait a minute, what do you mean? I'm being bought and sold on the bond
I
market.
know,
Who knew? So
One additional thing. A court at common law, the facts found by a trial by jury of your peers cannot be re-examined by any court in the United States.
P with a Q, thanks for 44 months, 81% to level 5.
That is so powerful.
That
Our
is.
common law courts are up
It's double jeopardy. I'm assuming she's advocating for jury nullification.
and running,
A pretty big thing with sovereign citizens and other interest groups.
and there was a U.S. Supreme Court decision called Ex parte Milligan, right out of the 1800s.
Thank you for that hype train, everyone. Incredibly generous. Appreciate you.
And here's what it said, that it is unconstitutional to have a military tribunal rule in civil matters unless there are no civil courts in the land. Well, guess what? We've been going into military tribunals. And
not knowing it this whole
not
time?
knowing it.
Wow.
Well, in the Republic of Texas, we
Jury nullification is good if it's not being done for stupid things like this. Unfortunately, jury nullification also has a history of being used to get people out of racially motivated crimes, or they killed or injured non-white people, so keep that in mind. Jury nullification is sort of a natural result of our legal system, but it's not an intent. There's not really much you can do about it. I'm not saying you need to do anything about it, but I would caution against championing it universally, as it can also be used for really terrible things. So
had our
don't
Republic
lean on
restored
it too hard.
since the 1990s, and we are holding common law courts, and we render judgments, and we're able to enforce them in any court in the land.
Which is so exciting. There's
is.
so much
It
to
is.
know. People are doing all kinds of great things. They're getting land patents, getting their
Yes.
vehicles, their kids back, getting their own life and liberty.
I don't think that's true. Chicken bacon Swiss. I don't think it's a good idea for the government to be able to just continually pull people back into court if they come up with, like, I don't know. I get it. I tend to be of the opinion that I'd rather 100 guilty people go free than one person wind up in jail innocent. So that kind of thing scares the shit out of me.
Liberty and learning,
But
and
that's my bias, so.
just coming together, assembling
Yes.
yourselves together, and restoring their nation states, and
Yes,
in
we
a
are.
bunch of different states. So there's more to come on this, and I'm happy to be here with you in it's really the embassy here.
It is.
It's the embassy
It is.
here at the Republic of Texas. Okay, so everybody look up Bonnie Straight and look at her videos as well. I mean, she knows a lot. She's the Counsel General for the Republic of Texas, so you're going to learn a lot. All right, so thanks for joining us today, and we'll talk to you soon.
God bless you. God bless America.
Why America? You claimed you're not even a part of it. Why do you care? Alright, so that's the Sovereign Citizens today. Interesting stuff as per usual. If you're from the raids and you haven't followed, I'm glad you stuck around at the very least. I hope you had fun. Consider giving me a follow. I stream most days. We have a lot of fun. Or at the very least, find interesting things. So consider following if you're still hanging out. If not, good to see you nonetheless for this brief period of time. And I hope you have a great day moving forward. So let's see who we raid. Oh, Eliminator, I'm glad. Thanks, Internet.
Kara has grown from 40,000 to 650,000.
All right, have a great night, everyone. I will see y'all tomorrow for Tin Foil Tuesday. It might start a little later tomorrow, as I have electrolysis tomorrow instead of today. So it might start a bit later, or maybe even earlier. I guess I'll have to figure out. It'll be at a different time, probably. I'll let you know on the Discord what's going on. But yeah, good to see everyone. Love you, Mr. Blast, and I'll see the rest of you soon. Have a great night. Bye, everyone.